Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 243. We're going to be talking. Look, okay, we've had so many shows about bamboo recently. Prusa decided to absolutely obliterate my newsfeed this week that wasn't political related. So, screw it. We're going to talk all about the Prusa Mafia. this
I love that
this
shirt.
episode.
That shirt is so good.
I so you qualify for one as well, but we have one with Buddy on it, Joe's dog, but we will not ever sell it. While we legally can, there's nothing stopping us legally from doing it. It's more of a personal thing because it's got Joe's dog on
It's a
it.
tasteful thing.
Yeah, this one's got my cat on it, which is totally fine. This is actually one of the old sample shirts. This is still DTG. But yeah, let's dig into this because there's been a lot going on this week, and I think the thing that people have been asking us to talk about over and over and over again are the core One VFA issues, and the updates and things like that. So I think it'd be really good for us to discuss that heavily here. But if you are joining us live, make sure to leave a like, get subscribed if you're not. Donate to help keep it ad-free, which reminds me I should go ahead and put that goal on there. But we always do appreciate everybody's support because we have the ads turned off while you are live. So the only ads you have to listen to are Jacob and myself talking about the sponsors of this show, including Printed Solid, where you can get some awesome Made in America filament right in the Delaware area. I guess they're closer to Newark, Delaware now, where we will be in under a month. Like literally 2.5 weeks, we will be at Printed Solid filming. So if you happen to be going to the 3D Printtopia convention in Bel Air, Maryland for the final time, they're moving to Philly next year. One, please stop by and say hey, always get a picture if you want something signed, whatever. But then two, if you're going to be going over to Printed Solid after the show, come out and hang out with us there as well, where we will be filming their brand new insane facility that is like 3 times the size of their old facility, which is like, think about taking...
That is impressive.
Think about taking your current facility and tripling it. And what
the amount of stuff you can do with that space is
the breathing
phenomenal.
room.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever watch our previous tours of Printed Solid and to see
I did actually
how tight it was in that filament room?
I think the key isn't it's tight, nice, but it's space efficient.
Well, so it was very tight in there to the point where they like reworked everything and put the filament out where shipping used to be. And they just kind of remaneuvered everything because it was too tight. This new facility, from the pictures that I've seen of it, it looks like it's an old supermarket that closed down because there's so much extra space, because they're going to be doing production of Prusa printers in the United States. So tariff-free machines, which is super cool. And of course, more access to spare parts, components, and things like that. This is all part of the PRUSA, strategy that Prusa has, where, well, they've got 2 major facilities, one in Prague and Czechia, and the other one in, Delaware, if you will. But also a huge thank you goes out to the other sponsors of the show, of course. Construct 3D for the UK's fastest 3D printer, the first bamboo 3D printer, business class machines designed for business class environments, where if you are looking for lights out production, where when you turn out your lights, your machines are still making you money, you should check them out, construct-3d.com. Links are in that description down below. And I heard that you guys have some fun news to share, so make sure you guys stay tuned, because after we're kind of done talking about the main subject, we'll get into the random banter as you guys enjoy, and that's where the really cool news from Construct will be shared. So,
long story short, I have not been in the office for the last 6 days, and I've been getting very little sleep and eating restaurant food for all of those 6 days. So there's a lot we can talk about.
Yep.
Just quite a lot. And of course, how can we not mention 3D Musketeers themselves, the hosts of the channel, and behind the scenes of the YouTube, they also run a pretty damn good company. So if you want anything that is 3D scanning, modeling, CAD design, consultation, or 3D printing, 3D Musketeers is the place to go to. I have used their service multiple times. I trust every decision they make because they actually care about your projects. And that is one of the most important things in this industry. When there's a lot of questions thrown around, finding people who care about what you do is one of the most valuable things to make your project go from possible to reality. So 3dmusketeers.com.
You know, and I'll add on to it because, you know, you say that we care about the projects, and I think it is easier to find people that care about the projects these days. It's really difficult to find people that actually care about the businesses, right?
That is true.
And that
There's a
is
big distinction.
like literally we had a customer reach out to us who has a Gen 2 Camaro with T-tops, okay? Classy car, gonna be clear. Very nice car. And they have some screws in them that hold the T-tops in, that like set the tension for it. He's like, could you 3D print this? I'm like, I mean, we could, but if you went to the store, bought some nylon screws, and then put them into a pencil sharpener to get the tip a little bit finer, you'd be good to go. He's like, where do I get a pencil sharpener? I said, ask your wife, because I bet she has an eyeliner pencil sharpener, and that will be perfect for this. He's like, dude, you're right. He did it, sent me photos, worked perfectly, saved him thousands of dollars in CAD, reverse engineering, 3D printing, test fitting, all of that by just spending $3 at the store. So that's what we love about it. It is always about finding the right solution to the problem, not trying to always make money. I mean, obviously, as business, we want to make money, but we want to find the best solution to people's problems. And sometimes it's not 3D printing. So to the gentleman that did that, glad everything's working out well for you. And to those that do need 3D printing, 3D scanning, whatever it needs, hit us up, 3dmusketeers.com.
Hell yeah.
And we have from the Council of Andrews Ad Removal Fund, Andrew Rodgers with the $20, who I am very excited to get some Council of Andrew stuff from him so that we can give it to Editor Andrew. Who won't see this because I'm not going to clip this bit, so he doesn't know that it's coming. So I'm going to end up mailing it to him. I'm going to likely attempt to scare him a little bit just for fun because he's not going to be expecting it. But send that to him and let him freak out a little bit until he opens it and finds out what it is. So, yeah.
Okay, that is quite funny. That is quite funny.
And Rexit with the $5 saying first roll of Jesse should arrive Monday, no ads. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you for helping supporting the channel. But yeah, let's dig into this. So, I mean, I think probably the one that people have enjoyed the most right now is that Printables is now working with 2 major video games. Both.
So I am completely in the dark on that.
Okay.
I have no idea what's going on. So you will need to bring me up to speed. Because all I've heard from the documentation is something cool is really going on. And that is it. So how have I missed this? This sounds huge.
Well, you missed it because your life was taken up last week by that big show. So that's how you missed it. But so this goes a long way back. And it's funny because I couldn't get it done, but Mikolas found somebody who could. So last time we were in Prague, I was hanging out with Mickey and now his wife, Sophie, and Amber. So, you know, we were basically double dating it, going out. We went to get some food, then we went out dancing. It was a whole thing because they're swing dancers as well. So we went out dancing. It was a lot of fun. But he was talking about how they really want to get more video game companies on board with officially like approved or licensed 3D print files for cosplayers. I said, oh, someone that I went to high school with happens to work in the crew for Borderlands. He's like, oh my God, that would be amazing. Oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, all right, I'll reach out. I'll see what I can do. Turns out she's not there anymore. But she tried to make things work. It didn't happen. But through Frank Ippolito, they were able to work with not only Borderlands, but Cyberpunk 2077. So there are officially licensed 3D print files for both video games available for free on printables.
Oh, I need to check this right now. I am a huge Cyberpunk fan.
Yeah.
So if there is files for that, they are all getting printed literally tomorrow.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that David Prusa guy, at least on the Borderlands ones. I don't know if he did them for the Cyberpunk, but the Borderlands ones, he painstakingly painted all of the files for the Borderlands parts so that you can print them on an XL or, I don't know, on a Core 1 with Index. So I am very excited. I am going to save these prints for Core 1 with Index, mainly because my XL is not set up to do 5 colors at the moment. It's set up to do 3 colors or 2 colors, because I have 3 heads at 0.4, 2 at 0.6, and that's how it makes more sense for us as a business to do it. But I think this is hopefully turning over a new leaf in the industry. I would love to see more video game companies get on this bandwagon because, look, cosplayers are rapidly adopting 3D printing in mass, like way, way more than they used to be. And to be fair, the bulk of them are buying like bamboos and sovals and things like that. But Prusa is selling quite a few machines to the cosplayers. But I love the fact that we're seeing video game companies and communities where traditionally they've been very standoffish to this community.
Which has been quite interesting because,
gung-ho.
like, the artists inside the companies
Mhm.
tend to be very positive towards additive
Right.
because they use it internally to
Mhm.
see if their parts look right when they're translated from game to real world.
Well, the issue is always intellectual property, and right, making sure that you can kind of guard that intellectual property and make sure that nobody is really like stealing the rights to your stuff. And I get it. I don't. It's like this is what happens when lawyers get involved. Like, I totally understand just like saying, "Hey, look, let's play the game of don't be a dick." And see if it works out. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But traditionally, this community is actually a decent community, all things considered. But, Games Workshop is probably the one to kind of prove that, no, actually, they kind of suck. But Games Workshop has never produced an olive branch toward the industry. And in fact, it's been quite the opposite. So, seeing companies like the team behind Borderlands and the team behind Cyberpunk, like, functionally enter into a strategic alliance. Some people call it a partnership. I don't like that word. Strategic alliance is much better, with printables to release official files. I think that's super awesome. And they've done World of Warships before, but I would argue that Borderlands and Cyberpunk are much more mainstream video games than World of Warships. Still a cool collab with World of Warships, but Borderlands, okay?
It is a completely different scale.
And let's be real. If there's one thing that you can learn from Borderlands is everybody likes big chests. Which is funny. I'm looking at the text to speech captions thing that's running live on my PC. It said chess, like, rook to e4 kind of thing, rather than chests. I was making a booby joke.
I could tell. I could very much. I think all our viewers could tell.
Maybe they could, maybe they couldn't. I'm here to assist, and even if I did hit the clip button, editor Andrew would have cut that one out because he said, "You're not cutting on the button. Let them figure it out too." Yeah, look, the chests versus chess. I don't know. I went to American public schools. Give me a break. So I think this is awesome, and the Borderlands files are just, dude, they're nuts.
So I've just opened them. Those are good files. those aren't half-assed, just like rip them out of the game and slap them in.
Yeah.
These are the modelers files. Like these are like straight from ZBrush.
Maybe. So here's the funny thing. If you don't know this about video games, this is something that might come as a surprise to people that don't know, that video games are often very, 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 very low poly. Like incredibly low poly. You would expect like a bandit inside of the Borderlands world to be it would look like a person. No, they're as low poly as physically possible, and they have a very, very detailed texture that deals with lighting and things like that.
Textures and shaders are what make most of the current industry look as good as it is.
Right.
Because polygons is hard. And if anyone says the nanite system from Unreal 4 works, you need to go back and read the documentation. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different conversation. For most games, you have to massively topology optimize parts. You can't have 100,000 triangle parts as every object. There's a reason like burgers are like 20 polygons. It's just like a hexagonal sphere with a burger texture slapped on it, because you just can't use all of those polygons across everything.
Yeah, you would
so
have,
when I see files like this, I'm so happy.
You would literally have video game file sizes that make the pre-patch Call of Duty laughable. 120 gigs, that's laughable. You would have half a terabyte to a terabyte video game sizes if you
easily
wanted full high poly models. And while yes,
like bearing in mind, like to get these textures done correctly, so bear in mind the model you see in the game is low poly or low to medium poly depending on the scale. When they design everything, it's very high poly.
Yeah, they
and it's because they then bake the textures from the very high poly to the low poly, so they know where all the shapes and crevices are.
Yep.
That's how it works. So seeing these files in the printable states they are just proves to me that they actually took the effort to not rip the game files and actually go to the source artists and get them to help hand it over.
And like
just straight up.
Dude, that's what we want, right? Like I wanted so badly to just immediately start running out and printing the Borderlands files, mainly because Amber really likes the Borderlands series. I've actually never played any of them.
They're quite fun. They're whimsically fun.
I like, it's funny. I've watched Let's Plays like on YouTube of it, and I enjoy that. I also have a few commentators and whatever that I enjoy watching just because I like their commentary. I like listening to them, and some of them I like, really, really enjoy, but I've never taken the time to sit down and play the game. But like, my PC is considered like really, really low spec these days, right? Like I have a 10.
Hey, you take that back. The 1080 is still the king.
Ti, good sir. For the Win 3, the best 1080 Ti.
Oh no, you're not going to get any ray tracing. Nobody cares.
I'm not going to get ray tracing. And the 10700K would probably not enjoy all that ray tracing anyways. But like Amber and her sister have done full cell shading makeup before, and it was super cool. And when it's done right, it's really trippy. Like when you remove the shadows from your face basically, and you paint on the cell shaded shadows, dude, it's like, oh my god, this is so weird. Oh, I'm sorry. Tarzman says, actually, the 1080 Ti Kingpin is the best. Well, RIP EVGA. We wish you didn't leave.
I'm trying to like pull from the back of my memory. Didn't the 1080 Ti Kingpin edition have like a memory controller issue?
Wait, hold on. Doug says he's still rocking.
Strix was like the best.
Hold on. Doug said he's rocking a second gen i7 and a GTX 560 Ti. Come at me for low spec. Doug, would you like a GTX 770 WindForce OC edition? Cause remind me if you do want it. I will bring it for you and you can have it. Hell.
Do you want a GTX 970?
Well, that
I have one
that
like
beats it.
right there.
Yeah, that beats what I have. Uh,
Hey,
and
I
Doug's
have
down the street
8
from you.
GTX 970s.
Um, he's laughing. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Doug, if you want some upgrades, let me know. But Jacob's upgrade's better than mine.
Like I literally have a full system, like just in bits next to me
And I
with
have a
an
40.
8th gen i7.
Oh, I don't have that.
I think it's a 8770. I've
That's
got
a nice.
a GTX 9 I've
That's a
got two
nice.
GTX 970s
That's a
just laying
nice
around.
CPU still.
Well, in my other motherboard that's over there that I'm gonna make a server from, I literally have the limited edition 8086K. The Intel one, the limited edition Intel 8086K, and I'm so happy that I got that. Though the memory control on that is getting a bit funky. I did burn it into the ground
I have a
quite heavily.
4770K sitting back there, and a Noctua NHD 14 for it because it was. I can't find my receipt for that, so I can't get new parts for it. Anyways,
But Tarsman, I know an 8086K is silly for a server, but I got it lying around.
Tarsman's
It's
my
just
brother.
there.
Tarsman's Jonathan.
I know,
Okay.
I know, but I didn't know if he wanted to
I've said
dox
it
his
many
name on
times.
YouTube.
I've said it many times. It doesn't matter.
Fine, fine. It's stupid. I know it is, but I couldn't say no to the deal when it came up. I'm like, oh yes, I want the limited edition one.
Yeah.
So
no.
yeah, I got it,
Yeah,
and now I
smoke 'em if you
don't
got 'em.
use it because I've got a Ryzen card and everything.
So I gotta ask the chat peeps, how many of you are into the cosplay thing, or how many of you are now considering making pieces from these two games now that there are official files, where previously this might have felt daunting when there weren't official files? Because I think that's one of the things for me with cosplay. It's like, I always feel that when it's not an official thing, because it was designed from photos, like someone reverse engineered it basically, it's not as like fit and finished as if the facility themselves released it. So I always feel like I have to add a bunch of extra greebling and, wear that I would know, that when you get the official files, it's already built into it. You don't have to worry about it. And it's why I've never gone down the path of cosplaying. I've always wanted to, but I'm like, I look at it and say, geez, this is so much work. And I worry that I'm going to spend all of this time like deep into the thought of cosplay, and I'm not going to focus on what matters. Right? Well,
Yeah.
cosplay matters, but I have to, make the money to afford the cosplay stuff. That, and I feel like the Borderlands mask is a very easy Halloween mask. Like, done.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah.
Straight
like,
up.
super,
I
super
am
simple.
expecting to see lots of them out in the wild now. And it looks really good. That mask looks amazing.
It's clean as hell. Like, it's really, really clean. And I have all the colors to do it. Because Prusa, whenever...
What do you mean all the colors to do it? Half the fun is paint it yourself. Come on.
The file's painted.
I
You
know
just
the
print it on a
file is
multicolor
painted.
printer.
Nah.
We've
Look,
been over this.
You're being too technically lazy.
We've been
Part
over
of the
this.
cosplay is the effort that goes into it.
No.
You need to paint it.
I can give a
You need to spend hours painting it.
See, even Catlet says you don't want to see my painting, okay? The best I can do for you is a somewhat even rattle can job, okay? That's all you... And look...
it's a berserker mask. They're gonna rattle can it themselves.
Look.
In the game, they'll just be like, yeah, do that. It'll be good.
David Prusa Guy has already committed to doing a live stream series with us where he teaches me to paint. Okay? So I'm going to get taught by an actual industry expert how to do it without using crazy expensive gear. Okay? I think that's cool.
So jealous of you.
You're welcome to join.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, I do kind of have a lot of crazy expensive gear. I literally have, like, over there, I have like 2 airbrushes, and one of them is the an Iwata Eclipse, which is like actually kind of goated. It's like the best airbrush I've ever had. I've got so much like just random matte medium and matte gloss like paint additives, so I can make my own pigments. because obviously that is something normal people do. I've got a little
Totally
vibrating
something that normal
chemical
people
mixer.
do.
I've got a chemical mixer, so I can put dried paints on because I keep them for so long they like separate out and the water sublimates out, so it can revitalize it.
That's a totally okay thing in my opinion to have. I have one too, but I use it
How
for
much did yours
mixing.
cost?
I use it for mix. Oh, it was not expensive. It was like $30 on Amazon.
Oh yeah, this is like 150 quid.
Jesus, why?
They're not cheap.
I'm sure
This
they.
is medical grade stuff. It was the only thing I could get.
I bet these two work the same. I use mine to mix
I bet you they
solvents.
literally are.
Yeah.
Is yours literally just like a vibrating bit under a silicate? Yeah, they're the same thing.
Okay.
They are so expensive now.
Nah. Find
They
the
really
cheap
are.
ones. But if you get a quality one, but as who was it? Rob Lutter said, $100 airbrush compressor from Harbor Freight. Yes. So I do have Shop Air. I've got a quiet air compressor, little 5-gallon quiet air compressor. Absolutely love it. I love quiet air compressors. But I think we're gonna look at doing, an actual airbrush compressor because Shop Air's a little bit more challenging, and with how humid it is here in Florida, I would need like 6 dryers to make it really, really dry air. Um, but yeah,
Wait, do you not have air traps on your shop air so it doesn't moisturize anything? Like moisturize? Moisturize is not the right word. Add moisture to the tank.
Jacob, it's so damp here that doesn't help. It still happens. The tanks sweat here. So moisture ends up inside of the tank no matter what you do. Now, thankfully, my air compressor is aluminum, so I don't have to worry about rust. I have to worry about the fact that it can fill up with water and I don't know.
See, now I'm just concerned that your air traps just aren't working.
No, they are. They can fill up so fast that they can't empty fast enough.
You can get inline water traps.
I probably can, but there's also a part of me
They're
that
cheap.
there's a part of me that doesn't care because my laser doesn't care about it either. And really, a little bit of extra water that gets sprayed across whatever you're lasering, just make sure it doesn't catch fire.
Okay,
Obviously.
just remind me never to plug any of my stuff into your shop air system.
I don't. Okay, claiming I have an air compressor. I do not have like air lines running everywhere.
It
No,
doesn't matter. Like, or 99% of stuff needs dry air when it's compressed. You are, yeah,
Chris is yelling at
Jonathan's
me.
right.
No, that's Chris yelling at me.
I
Saying
can't
OMG
read, I
laser
need more
care,
fair
that poor
glasses.
protective lens. Look, Chris, it is an
You
old,
are
old,
screwed.
it is an old Red Sail X700 clone. It is when a pass through meant that it had doors. You can't actually put material
I'm
through
getting
it.
one. Okay.
Um,
You piss me off now.
I have tried various water separators. I think I have 2 water separators in my system, and I still end up with water coming out. You'll get a little mist every now and then. It could be from the tank. I honestly don't know. I've just kind of let it go because that laser is so old. I don't care anyways. If it dies, it dies. So be it.
Literally, get yourself one of these.
Yeah, I have that.
That little water separator.
Uh-huh.
Get 2 of them in a line
Uh-huh.
on the output
Uh-huh.
of your compressor,
Uh-huh.
and you're done.
Okay.
That's it.
So what happens when
Just
they
get
fill
them.
up?
You press a little button, and
Okay.
it dumps.
I can't sit
Done.
by my laser and hold the button so it can dump out the water from the air. It's like 80+% ambient humidity in my garage. It is damp. It is damp AF.
I live in the damp country. This is a you problem. We have
is
similar humidity at all times.
It is likely just a me problem. I am assuming it's something to do with the way that I run the compressor. But ultimately,
Yeah, Titan 3D's right. They have self-emptying versions. Get some of them.
well, I
They're
don't
cheap.
have those.
They're so cheap. They really are so cheap.
Yeah.
And they protect everything in the loop. In theory, you're supposed to put them before the tank itself. So you go compressor to them, then tank, and then it keeps your tank dry as well. Because otherwise you get some real nasty gunk building
That
up
would
in
be
that tank
smart.
over time.
Yeah. The only
Because
downside
that's what that one is. So this one's lovely. This is like a little, I think it's only like a 5 liter one. It's great. It's tiny. Most importantly, it's got a double tank inlay, so you don't get any pressure pulsing
Yeah, you
when
don't
the
get the
motor's
pulsing
turned
from
on.
the yeah. I fall ever since I got a quiet compressor, I've fallen in love with them. Other than the fact they get insanely hot. So you have to be careful about adding cooling. So like when I use my laser, I have two fans that I point onto the motor of the compressor because I'm like, I don't need it to fail. And their duty cycle's quite low. So yeah, I cool it. I had this idea of wrapping since I have a refrigeration chiller for my laser, so I can chill sub-ambient,
Mhm.
I thought about wrapping those cooling lines around the compressor motor for the air compressor to help it.
Do not do that. Actually, do not do that.
I'm like,
That is a bad idea.
okay, so obviously there's the electricity risk, right?
I'm not even considering that. I'm thinking like thermal shock to the motor, thermal shock to the refrigeration line because you're adding a load of heat to a refrigeration
Oh, it's
line.
fine. It's a
Oh,
900-watt refrigeration unit. It's fine.
you know motors can run hot and it's okay. It's okay.
I
Let them run
know.
hot.
I always
Let them run hot.
worry.
This is like us saying like, oh, my stepper motor's
Chris
getting
said I'll
hot,
cook the
and you're getting
compressor head,
concerned.
so there you go. Look, it was an idea. The same way that I had the same idea to run, have a couple of quick connect lines for a cool suit, so I could be out in the garage longer, working and
Okay, now
streaming.
that I vibe with.
That's kind of cool.
That I
But
vibe with.
see, the problem is it chills sub-ambient, and it can chill low enough that like I could go into hypothermia. So we chill to like 12 to 15 C is where we chill the laser to. My hysteresis is only like 2 C, but we chill it, and I'm like, that's cold enough that if it dropped your core temperature enough, you're gonna have a problem. So it was always an idea. Instead, I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this summer off from streaming in the garage. It's just too damn hot. Um, so that instead was my solution was just don't chill it there, just don't stream. So there's my solution. Once we get the shop expansion taken care of, we are in the final planning stages at the moment. Once we get that expansion taken care of, I will go back to streaming more often, but I've got too much going on right now. Like, you guys can't see the cat bed right now, but the cat bed is full of parts. Because I am out of space in this shop, and I've got 4 really big projects going on right now that require table space, and it's like, well, I don't have table space in here because it's covered by printers. So, part of the deal with running a business, when we get really, really busy, it becomes difficult for me to always, like, get perfect videos and all that. So, part of life. Part of life. Yeah, there's like, I can't show you the front of it, but I can show you the back of it. Big parts in the cat bed. That part
Big
weighs
parts.
1,200 grams.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yep, single print, 1,200 grams. Took
I always
like,
hate like the parts that are like just over a kilo. It
yeah.
just feels so bad. Like it's like, oh, I have to whip out the 3 kilo reels just to go like 100 grams over.
No,
one.
Buying 3 kilo reels is tougher than you think if you want to get it quickly. Right? If you don't
just have some in stock. Just do it.
easier
The
said
money
than
savings and the waste savings literally make it worthwhile.
I have not found suppliers for 3 kilos that are
You on average get like a 30% discount when you go for 3 kilo.
not that I can find. And once you really go above, I would look at like 5, but once I go above that, it's like, ugh, the reels. Like those
So
2
one of the
white rolls,
issues
you're
with
going to
going
see
to
them get much
5
smaller throughout the show. You will see them get a lot
Yeah.
smaller. Both
I
those
I
machines are
would
running.
not use a 5 kilo. There's a reason I've standardized that thing on 3, because for a 5 kilo, you're actively fighting the extruder motor because you
Yes.
have to move that much mass.
Yeah, and there is a lot of mass. MLV is asking where you get your 3 kilo rolls from.
Okay, so we get them from 4 major suppliers. We get Filamentive is one of the primary ones. I actually quite like their 3 kilo reels. They actually do like 2.3 and 3 kilo. Pretty good reels. We've done Prima Nordic Group. I can never remember the Nordic Prima name brand. Uh, uh, Grant, save me. What is the name of the filament? Prima something.
They don't sell it here in the States. I couldn't tell you.
Prima something. I'm so sorry. Names are my
I'll
literal
find it.
nemesis. They do a damn good 3 kilo reel because it's a plastic spool and it is just like universally a really good size to height because some of the Chinese spools go very tall without going very wide. Prima Select. There we go. Uh,
Okay.
so I've done oh, and 3D Prima as well. I've got a load of reels from
My
them.
God, they should do a prima donna line. Oh my God, that would be Rob Lutter prima. They should have a Donna line, and it's 3D prima donna. Oh my God, and that should be like their fancy colors. Oh my God, that would be too funny.
And then for our Chinese supplier, we actually use Eriwan. I found Eriwan's filament production lines have been very stable compared to a lot of the other Southeast Asian style filament providers. Eriwan has been one of the better ones.
It's like our main suppliers are printed solid and polar filament, and neither of them offer 3 kilo rolls.
Honestly, I
Sometimes
like the 3 kilo
you'll
rolls.
get
They
like
are nice.
I can get 2.3s sometimes from printed solid, and I'm sure I can ask Mitch to spool me some larger spools, but they don't retail them. And that's where it becomes complicated to like maintain that inventory. So we run a lot of 1 kilo rolls. It is what it is. But I plan out the print jobs so that we don't end up with like 50 grams on a roll. It's not that big of a deal. The prints running behind me, they'll take like 1,100 grams, but the previous print that ran on those machines only took 800 grams. So we start with a brand new
So
roll.
you're doing a switch over.
Yeah, we'll do a
once
switch
you've
over.
used one.
Yep, I'll
See,
do a.
that's what I'm petrified of because I have already experienced with every brand. No brand has been good for this yet. Where if you get a batch of filament and then
Mhm.
wait a couple months and get another batch,
It's slightly different.
sometimes
Yeah.
things can change. For example, one off the top of my head, I won't say the brand because it's not their fault at all. They changed the extrusion temperature in the factory. So they extruded it 5 degrees hotter to make the filament more reliable. However, what I noticed was the print profiles and the color surfacing
A little
as
different.
I changed from batch 1 to batch 2
Yep.
changed ever so slightly, and it happens on every brand. If you get two different batches and they're just running slightly two different pigment loads, because again, pigmenting is not something that is qualified, if that's the right term. Like you will not get batch A and batch B having the exact same pigment count, and you can see it.
A lot of printed solid and polar are actually pretty good at making sure their pigmentations are dead on. There you'll end up with more you'll end up with more issues from the printers themselves. But
Oh yeah.
for
But
the
even like on the batches, like if they're doing 100 kilo like runs, the first like 10 kilos will have a different pigment value to the last 10 kilos.
Hmm.
Just because of how it loads and how it like uniformly spreads as it's being produced. And that is something that you can get like within 1% like tolerance of the pigment value, but you can see it.
Hmm.
And it's very faint. You can only notice it when you put them next to
We put
each
them next
other
to each other.
because
Yeah.
then you are comparing them directly on top of each other.
Yeah, I guess like the bulk of what we're printing right now is white and black parts, so it's like it is what it
Gray is
is.
the worst, I find. Grays are the worst because they are so sensitive to any
Yes.
value change.
Yeah. Gray is very sensitive to that. Oh, there was a little bit of extra pigment in this, or oh, there wasn't. Uh, yeah, yeah. And we like to buy locally where we can. So people are saying, oh, Polymaker, Sunlu, and others sell larger spools on Amazon. I understand that. I can buy it for less from American-made suppliers. Sorry, I understand that there are people that will buy bulk filament, where they'll get it for like $6-7 a kilo out of China. I'm just not in the business of importing. It's just not what we want to do. I don't mind my material costs being higher, but if I can lower my material cost and support local small business, why wouldn't I? There is no reason for me not to. So that is often what we do. We support both Polar and Printed Solid. So yeah, because if either of them go under, I'm screwed because I'm down to like one supplier for filament, and then I gotta all of a sudden go through and qualify new people, which I don't want to do.
Oh, it is awful though. Whenever you have to like qualify a new material,
Dude, it takes
it
forever.
takes so much time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Elegoo is our fallback for white and black PETG, but the print settings are different. So if I run out of inventory and both of Printed Solid and Polar are out of stock, I fall back to Elegoo because they're basically never out of stock. But I have to slow the machines down by like 9 or 10%, or I have to raise the temperatures by like 30 degrees. So it's like, okay, I have to be reminded of it. And that means because we do some files all the time for a customer,
Yep.
I have to put both the Printed Solid, Polar, and then Elegoo profiles when we export the G code. So we have to make sure which one we print with. So Titan 3D likes 3DX Tech. I like 3DX Tech as well. We use them mainly for exotics. We don't run a lot of their like normal filaments. But they are very, very good filament. We love
See,
them
the
for
problem I
exotics.
have is I have no idea how to actually qualify a material, even though I've been doing it for almost a decade now. One of the things I've always struggled with is how do I actually determine, like scientifically, which material I should be going for versus which? Because like I
We
can dial a profile in and it works, but I'm kind of just praying that it works as well as the advertised like numbers.
Well, and this is literally why we go with suppliers that we know and trust. Like I know Polar does not add filler to their material because I've talked with Mitch. I know Printed Solid doesn't because I've literally made filament at Printed Solid. I know how it's made.
It's
Like,
why I use 3DQF filament as my base, because they will literally tell me the base resin
yes.
polymer, the temperatures of everything, the process, like all of it. And that has been the best thing for me, like trying to qualify materials, because I can guarantee that they know everything they're doing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't help me knowing what I'm doing when it comes to qualifying a material.
So like we'll like make little cube samples and then we'll beat them with hammers. And like it's anecdotal, right? You're not going to hit something the exact same with a hammer. But if for some reason the part fails in a way that we're not expecting it to fail, or fails differently than we're expecting it to fail, then we look and say, okay, why did this occur? And we try to determine that failure mode. But traditionally speaking, when it comes to like, if we're having to certify a part, which we often do, we have to certify parts that leave the shop. We go to companies that like I know and I can trust. And if there is a problem, the company handles it. I don't have to handle it, right? If there is an issue with materials, like we had an issue with Polar's PETG, and I talked to Mitch. I said, Mitch, I'm getting a lot of issues with this material. Here's what I'm seeing. Here's what's going on. They have completely dropped that old supplier, and they have a brand new supplier. So you want a company that actually gives a damn. Both Printed Solid and Polar Filament hit that level for me. Because if I have a problem, I call them. I don't have to submit a ticket, and I'm not
Yep.
calling people's cell phone numbers. I'm calling the public phone numbers that are listed on their website. It's not like I'm using my creds as a YouTuber to get through. Yes, Mitch immediately assumed that I had done all my testing and all of that necessary. He's like, I'm assuming you've done all these things. I'm like, yes, I've already done all these things. He's like, okay, then I'm not going to bother going through them with you. What's going on? This is what's going on. Okay, send me some pictures. Send me some pictures. Oh, okay. Let me see. He goes and checks. He's like, yep. Let me know how many spools you got that are bad, and we'll cover the cost. I'm like, Mitch, it's never about the money for me. It's about the time. I don't care about the material. I care about the time. And I said, it is what it is. We can't get it back. But, you know, hey, it's a problem. He's like, I'll get it taken care of. And like 3 days later, he's like, I got it taken care of. I'll send you a sample. Okie dokie. Super easy.
I love that so much. Here's a quick question for you. So Slice of Mind said they recently purchased 41 kilo spools from Anycubic. Do you remember what the actual like polymer manufacturer is for Anycubic's filament?
I believe it's Sunlu.
Is it Sunlu? Because I wasn't sure if it's Sunlu or eSun, because they've got Sun in the name, and it confuses me every single time.
I believe it is Sunlu. Off the top of my head, it's Sunlu. I don't have any cubic filament to check, but I believe it's eSun. Sunlu. Both.
See, you just did it as well. It's in the head.
Both eSun and Sunlu make quality materials. I've never had issues with their materials. Again, I like supporting local small business where I can. Even if it costs me a little bit more money, I'm happy to do it. But traditionally speaking, it doesn't. So, David Connor Shover with the $9.86. Thank you, sir. Saying my first contract, presently burning through 25 kg of Polar TPU. Yeah, ooh. This is made out of Polar's TPU. They're 60D, which is like 105A. I really like this. It is a very, very nice printing TPU. And like, you know, I can actually trust that he's gone through and done like analysis. Mitch bought a tester for it to verify the durometer that the material is. He didn't just assume it was 95A like a lot of companies. So, yeah. Anyways, I am very excited. I do hope that that more video game companies start to jump on this bandwagon. Do you think this is like a, you know, the start to more companies jumping on the bandwagon for releasing files, or do you think this is just, I don't know, a anomaly in the system?
I think, this is going to be contentious. I think this is an anomaly in the system.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's never about the designers. The designers would love to put their stuff on these files, like these file hosting websites. But I don't think it's going to be the end of this. I think it's going to actually end up coming down to, say, Prusa themselves reaching out to companies to remind them they can do this. Because in the eyes of a lot of these companies, so you're probably never going to get Ubisoft to do something like this. They are so in their own wall.
You're going after the indie game companies, right? You're going after.
Well, you're not. Borderlands isn't indie. Cyberpunk is not indie. But the difference is CD Projekt Red and most of the people who do Borderlands are very enthusiastic about what they do. So you're probably going to get like Pell. I have completely forgotten the team that makes Apex. It's not Frontier.
I don't play.
I should know this. I should know this. So like you'll get like the Titanfall people would love to post their stuff, and you would get like the communities and Respawn Entertainment. There we go. Thank you, MLV. I can't believe I forgot that. But you'll get companies like that where they actually like their business, not the bigger ones. Like EA probably would.
It's like once lawyers get involved, you know it's not happening.
Yeah.
Right. They have to be big enough to like really enjoy their community and love their community and know that their community is what props them up and keeps them in business, but small enough that they haven't let like private equity and, piece of crap lawyers get involved where they're like, no, this isn't, this is custom designed IP designed for 3D printing. This is a net positive for us because streamers are going to wear it. We're going to get more people to wear this out in the open. People will get reminded of our products. Yes, there are going to be some people that are going to sell it. We can't stop that. It is easier to play the game than it is to attempt to fight the players. In my opinion, it is always a better move to try to work with people rather than try to fight them. It's not worth it at the end of the day to me to try to fight people.
I see the issue with getting game companies to do this is actually the same issue getting car companies to upload their files.
Yeah.
Is just there's no precedent to do it.
There isn't, and this sets one.
This is opening the doors to say, hey, you can. Like, when is it Ford did something on printables?
Yes. Well, Ford has the FITS system. It's a opening in Ford vehicles. They're all over Ford vehicles where they have released the CAD model for it so you can make 3D printable accessories for it. I think that's awesome because that enables third-party companies to develop aftermarket components that don't require you to put holes or glue onto your vehicles. I think that's awesome.
Those are my two favorite things.
I get that, but you don't want to. It's like the Ford Bronco has them, not the OJ Bronco, the new Bronco has them, and they're right where you could mount off-road lights. Ford clearly did that. So third-party aftermarket manufacturers could utilize the FIT system as a way to attach the lights and not require you to like put 3M VHB on your car or more seriously, drill into your car. That to me is like, okay, they recognize people are going to do this. Why don't we give them a means to do it rather than deliberately stop them? Because having the availability of aftermarket components might be the difference between someone saying, I want this versus I want a different brand, right? If you're an off-roader and you like to go out into the woods in the middle of nowhere, you understand that lights are a big deal. And that's not just looking forward, it's looking behind, it's looking to the side, it is looking everywhere. You need to have an understanding of your situation at every time. If your vehicle is so complicated to mount stuff to that aftermarket companies don't do it, certainly we can't rely on the manufacturer to do it. Even Jeep doesn't do it. And Jeep, the Wrangler, is known for being an off-road vehicle. Jeep does not offer a wide range of off-road lights for these vehicles. It's all taken care of by the aftermarket. If Jeep all of a sudden made it difficult for aftermarket people to bolt things to a Jeep, then the Jeep is going to lose popularity amongst off-road people, and they'll only buy the used vehicles, which gives no money to Jeep. This, to me, is the exact same thing with the 3D print files, right? Are these going to make, someone tens of thousands of dollars? It's unlikely. It's unlikely, in my opinion, because it'll get shut down pretty quickly, right? There's no way that you can properly market a Borderlands mask for sale and not have it ping an IP search, right? There's just no way, right? But I think that this allows fans of the game that also have 3D printers or friends with 3D printers to be able to show off what they're into without needing, all this experience in painting, in makeup work, in all of that. And it gets them one step closer to taking their fandom to the next level, which could be merch and other things like that. So I like that. I
do like this.
And I'm glad that it's
love to see other game companies like follow suit and start it being just a trend where maybe even like before the game is fully released, they are drip feeding models as almost teasers to these printing host platforms
Yeah.
where they just randomly drop a new gun or a new armor piece, and the fans are just there like, I have no idea how this plays into the wider scheme of things, but I think it will be quite interesting.
Yeah, I do too. I think it would be hugely valuable, even when you're like looking at releasing a DLC or something like that, to be able to like release files, um, to the consumer early. And that could
Yeah,
be like a big marketing thing and enable like people to basically market for you, right?
pretty much. Like most of these games survive by having a hype train, and I see if the advertising can be done via like printables, for example, like let's say Borderlands 4, like they just every once a month up until the full release of the game. I actually don't know if the game's released yet or not. I've been so far out of video games for like the past 6 months,
Think
it's
it
insane.
is.
Ugh.
Yes, it
I
is. It
used to
is.
be a game designer, and now I don't
It
even
is
know when
because
Borderlands 4 is launching.
it's been messing up people's computers and cards because it's not well optimized.
Oh, it came out September 12th. That will be why I don't know when it launches. I was dead on September 12th.
I mean, so like
So yeah, let's imagine this is 6 months ago when they were doing this. They could have released one file a month with no explanation and then just like had this drip feed of content, which would have been
so like
fairly low effort, but kept a hype train going.
so if Borderlands released on the 12th, this went public at noon exactly on the 12th Eastern time.
Okay, that
The
is kind
printable
of cool.
stuff.
That is good timing.
So they were clearly working together. Now, I will say, Mikolas, the dad rifle that you have, which we cannot show, we are not showing anything even remotely firearm related. I know that it's fake.
Oh,
The person in the photo, which it could be you, I'm not certain if it's you, trigger discipline. For God's sakes, trigger discipline. Please. I understand that I'm being a bit of a persnickety pain in the ass on this, but I'm sorry. We have to set an example about trigger discipline. You need to have good trigger discipline. Please. And thank you. Trigger discipline. I'm off my soapbox.
I'm not going to say my funny quips to that because I am actually on your side with this. I want to say a funny quip that's like, oh, it's Borderlands. Of course, there's no such thing as trigger discipline. But we
No.
don't live in a Borderlands world. We need to remind people trigger discipline.
Yeah, like even on power drills, man. I've got the good trigger discipline on the power drills all the time. I
Nail guns is where it's at.
Yeah, like I fundamentally understand that a lot of people, are safe-ish with this stuff, but it's a good habit to form early. And, when it is actually a big deal and you forget, that's a huge issue rather than when it's not a big deal and you do it. So, trigger discipline, please and thank you.
It's actually one of the things that I found quite interesting. So I do airsoft every now and again as a nice little combat sport because it's the only sport you can shoot your friends and get away with, really. So I quite like it. One of the things that I noticed because I ran my university's airsoft society was the gamers would actually have impeccable trigger discipline.
A lot of them do.
They've never, some of these people have never picked up anything like imitating a firearm before.
Mm-hmm.
And they instinctively know about trigger discipline because everybody on the internet talks about it enough and all video games talk about trigger discipline enough. It's the people who don't get immersed in that side because nobody tells them the importance of trigger discipline. They tend to immediately grab around the trigger. So any little improvement we can make just around the portrayal of firearms with just instinctively having the finger off of the trigger, in my eyes, it does actually do a visible impact in the discipline, especially of younger generations.
Yep. I mean, I've had to yell at staff about it. Like, and they were very obviously toy guns. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I will beat it into your head until you get it right. And whether that's physically or otherwise, I will. I will. I will make sure that you remember because no, I never want people to forget it. But I would love to see like so we were joking on Twitter that Factorio should be the next one. How cool? Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
Factorio, 3D printable files, and the tiles all have some level of electrical connectivity. So you could actually build a functioning factory out of it. Now, obviously, like the
Well, that
smelt.
was that file. Somebody made like a little conveyor belt file that you could scale, and it actually spun.
So I'm like, like the K2 Kevin poop conveyor belt for bamboos and all that. What if you did it on small tiles? Let's say 100 or 150 millimeter square tiles, um, or some area of gridfinity.
I think
right?
this has already been done. I think this has
I'm
already been
sure it
done.
has, but I'm looking for it to be licensed. I'm looking for it to be licensed. That's what I want. And that way you can have the little arms, and they might not move anything, but they'll move back and forth, right? They'll move back and forth, and the smelters can be a way that you can like put stuff into them, and then they just have a little belt that shoots out parts. I love Factorio. Satisfactory is the same way for me. I love both of those games. I love like factory building games. Would love to see companies like that, like the factory building games, because like, dude, that'd be so much fun.
See, I kind of want to ask, how many hours do you have in Factorio then?
Not very many. I'm under 1,000.
Ah, fake gamer, fake gamer.
I
It
don't have
hasn't
the
consumed your
time.
life.
I don't have the time.
Neither do we, but it consumes you. The factory must grow.
And it's why I don't play it.
That's why you have to play it.
But
You have to get into the train side. It enables the traintism at the same side.
whoa, what if Factorio released their train models and Satisfactory released the train models?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, now that's a collaboration.
All of a
You
sudden,
get
Jacob's
double
turning his bedroom into
OHO.
a train room.
Hey, I already had one. I had to get rid of it for the business. But if you get double OHO scale train models, I would be having another train set up Factorio style. You get the traintism, you get the factorytism all at once.
I dig it.
Oh, come on, that would be cool. That would be cool.
So what if instead of
Oh, and you could have like little hoppers on the back of the trains and like little gates, because you can do that. It's quite easy. But do it so it like if you have a Bamboo Lab print farm, you can go up to it, it dumps them in, and then it leaves. Like, that's saying up a bit too much of the tism right now. Just a
it would be
little
a
bit
lot
too much
easier
is
to
going
just
on.
dump it into a bucket, but
Yeah, but the bucket is a train.
okay.
And then the train goes and dumps it somewhere else.
Maybe.
You get the train tism with your 3D printer tism.
I think that's awesome, but I'm looking at like all the potential ways that fails and how it just absolutely ruins a print farm overnight. I'm like, oh
Nobody
god,
cares.
that would be so bad
Nobody
if that
cares.
failed.
It would be so cool though, having little trains running around.
It would be cool. It would be cool. I agree with that. It would be a neat system. I don't know. Maybe
Model railway really is baby's first automation system. I'm just saying. You got your tracks, you got your signals, you got your vehicles,
You're not
and you get
wrong.
little cargo crates on the back. Model rail, you got to start them young. When was the first time you got a model train?
I don't ever think I got into it all that much. My dad was.
What? Not even like the little wooden block ones.
Oh, well, okay, fine. Yeah, I've had the
Huh?
wooden block ones. I had a Lego one. I mean, I still do. I still have the Lego. But I would argue that getting your kids into hobbies like this early means they won't do drugs and alcohol because they won't have the money or the time for it. So you might as well get them
Exactly.
started into that early. Or get them started into 3D printing and, learn that they have a lot of the tism and they turn it into a business and they have no time, no money, and no desire for hard drugs because they recognize that this is how you get addicted very quickly. But dude, like, I'm looking at like 343 for Halo stuff. The Halo community would love that. Like, get an
They would.
actual like get an actual like certified Master Chief set of armor, a printed Needler, but with all the files. Come on now. You know, there's so much opportunity that I think for these video game companies, but it does involve some level of releasing intellectual property. So there's like this weird line that they have to consider of, is this for the community or is this for our pockets? And
I think we won't see it from companies who already have merch because it will interfere with their merch sales.
Yeah.
Whereas other companies where they do not have merch are more willing to do this. Like, I don't think Halo will ever do 3D printer files because they have too much merch. Like, they just straight up they've got the Nerf series,
Yeah.
the Halo rifles, they've got the Lego series for it, they've got the Mega Block series for
It'd be
stuff.
cool
Like,
though.
it would be cool. I would be on for it, but you know there's going to be like two middle managers and one marketing guy just there like, we're going to do this, and they're going to go, how's it going to hit our bottom line? And they're going to turn around and they're going to say maybe.
I
And
wonder,
that maybe is a no.
one of my old managers from Mosey, his name is Jeff Easterling. He left Mosey to go work at 343. I wonder if he's still there. It's like, I have a cell phone number. In theory, he hasn't changed it. No one ever changes their cell phone number. How cool would that be? Like, hey, I got a favor to ask. How cool could that be? That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Although I'm not certain he'd liked me very much, but meh. Is what it
Not
is.
many people like you very much.
That's fair.
That's cool being
That's
a
fair.
YouTube star.
Yeah, I guess so. They make fun of me, and then I get to make videos about them making fun of me, which is fun. So Ben Cresswell said, asked if I had gotten anywhere with the 3D printed lawnmower blade. No, I have not heard back from them yet. I'm kind of bummed. If anyone has, contacts with FiberSeek, please reach out to them and tell them that they need to work with us on this, because I really do want to continuous fiber print a lawnmower blade. And not that my lawnmower blades currently work right now. That's a whole other problem that I have to go deal with, because once again, my lawnmower's broken. So, hello, automated lawnmower companies that do these robotic lawnmowers. For the love of God, please sponsor me. Please. I don't care if you sponsor the podcast, videos on the main channel. I don't care. I have had so many problems with my internal combustion engine lawnmower. I would consider finding a place where I could pack it full of tannerite and blow it up as part of a video if you could hook me up with enough robotic lawnmowers to take care of my yard. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Shane is here. Hey, Shane. Hey, since Shane is here, I'm gonna use the street cred where I can. Shane, can you please tell whoever took the photos of the Borderlands weapons that they need to have trigger discipline, or I'm gonna come beat them over the head with the models, because I require trigger discipline. I don't care if it's 3D printed or not, because I don't need people getting hurt because they're idiots. So can we get some trigger discipline on that, please? And thank you. Yeah. Yeah, Tarzman said, if you have a connection with a robotic lawnmower company, hit us up, YouTube at 3dmusketeers.com. Do note the property is about 2 acres. Yes, it is about 2 acres. So, Andrew Rush said, or hear me out, electric ride-on mower. Well, considering the current problem with my mower is electrical related, not certain that's a better move either. They didn't print a SIG 320. Thank you for the proper SIG P320 joke. It is always good to have a good 320 joke when we're talking about trigger discipline. Thank you. But yeah, I would really like to try plastic versus metal blades. It would be really cool.
I think it'll be I think it'll be more than fine as well.
And if it's not, it's still a good video. If it fails catastrophically, it is still a good video.
The higher the chance of you getting hurt, the better the video will turn out.
Dreams Void says I should just get goats because they also produce continuous fiber. Yes, I understand the desire for goats, but then you have to remember that you're going to have an annoying goat that is going to be noisy all the time. And that's how I end up with goats too.
I was just gonna say that's when you get live target practice and you get to have a good meal.
Shane says, you want me to go find someone to tell them they have their finger on the make-believe sci-fi plastic prop gun that does not go pew-pew? You do know I actually have work to do at the factory, right?
Get bloody told.
Okay, that's fair. I'll bother Mikolas myself.
Okay, actually, I think that every 3D printed replica firearm needs a yellow tip or an orange tip painted on it just to be certain.
Yeah, no, it doesn't need the orange tip. That's even excessive for me. But I'll talk to Mickey myself.
What do you mean it's excessive for you? You're like, oh, finger off the plastic gun trigger. But
again, that's
not
about
the orange tip.
The trigger discipline is about building good habits. Period.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
It is not about.
I am all about trigger discipline, but
no, the orange tip's
I would argue that orange
guns.
tip is easier than trigger discipline.
Yes, the orange tip is easier, but I can easily paint the tip of any of my real guns orange.
Yeah, exactly, and then it makes it even funnier.
And it's a federal crime. Anyways,
wait, is it a federal crime to paint the tips of your gun orange? Is it?
Probably. I honestly don't know.
Because isn't freedom of speech also covering like cosmetic modifications to anything you do? Like, hence why you can paint your car whatever it is. Doesn't that also go for the firearms? You can spray them whatever you want, including having a very funny orange tip.
I have a follow-up call with the police department tomorrow. I will ask them.
I'm actually really
about
interested to find out.
To be clear, there's an unrelated matter where I am not the problem, I am the solution. So I have a follow-up call with them tomorrow. I'm gonna find out, and I'm just gonna ask them. So, Shane says, "Go ahead, Grant. Google that." Now I'm gonna do it.
I've Googled. Do it. All of a sudden, you hear a knock on Grant's door, going, "Hey, open up."
They know where I live.
We saw what your search history was.
It is not illegal to make a real gun that looks like a toy.
Let's go.
I guess this is very much a shall not be infringed thing. All right. Well, now I will have to ask my local PD about this. I am so curious.
All of your everyday carries now need orange tips.
I am not doing that.
When some fool wants to try you and you pull out the orange tip, and they're going to be like, I'm going to try you. And then you shoot them. Imagine the look on their face when they go, but it was an orange tip.
Jacob, I never want to be in that situation in my life ever.
Yeah, but then after you shoot them with the orange tip, you must choose one random Fortnite
Titan 3D EDC nerf or nothing. I have seen the videos of the guys bringing like the ridiculous nerf, the Nerf blasters to gun ranges, and how everybody thinks it is absolutely hilarious. Even the RSOs just absolutely love it. I don't have really big Nerf blasters, but we do have my local range is an open air range, so you go move the targets manually. So they make the range cold. You actually walk out, so you could go pick up the Nerf darts on the range if you wanted to. There's no.
Okay, I do not like that at all.
No, they make the range cold. They make sure all the firearms are safe. Then you walk out. It's welcome to the country, Jacob. Don't worry about it.
I've been to a few open air ranges. There is no such thing as a cold range.
Welcome to the country, Jacob. Winslow Joy with the $10 for the ad-free streams. Thank you very much, sir. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for supporting it. Shoot, load, repeat. That'd be so hilarious. God, now I want to bring a Nerf blaster to my local range. They really wouldn't care. They wouldn't. I know they wouldn't care.
No. Obviously, as we've just found, you can just hide a regular like firearm inside the Nerf blaster. So you get to have all the hilarity of ha ha ha, you're bringing a Nerf gun, and then it just dumps a 12 gauge out the tip, and you're done.
Why?
You're
I'm
gonna have the
sure.
funny meme where you've got the Nerf shotgun and you're just loading real shells into it.
Jesus, I don't want to do that. God, I'm sure I'm already on enough watch lists as it is, Jacob. I don't want to get on more. I just really
Of
don't
course,
want
you're
to
on a
get
couple
on
of
more.
watch lists. You're a YouTuber. I'm sure there's loads of playlists with you in it. But yeah, that was awful. I need to take that back.
It's pretty bad, Jacob.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Just like bringing a Nerf Glock carbine kit to the range.
But I do fully support those if you're going to print them in really weird, like Nerf style colors. I'm
Oh, hell
totally
yeah.
for that. 100% for that.
Glow in the dark. Let's go.
TX22.
People have tracer rounds. Make your entire like printed 2A glow in the dark.
Dude, tracers
Do
are
it.
expensive.
It's America. Everything's expensive now.
Same old Shane. 3D Musketeer, since there's only one of us, I guess now. After Dark Video Collection, joined his Patreon for access. That's right, onlygrantrants.com. Onlygrantrants.com. I really should just have that redirect to the Patreon. It does not currently redirect to the Patreon, but I do own that website.
But you need to set up an actual OnlyFans that only has pictures of the fans in your factory.
There's a lot of fans in here. Every printer has like 3.
Exactly. You could drip feed the OnlyFans with fans.
I'm not Linus Tech Tips, man. I can't get away with that kind of crap.
Yeah, you could. What's stopping you? It's free country over there. Freedom of speech and all that. Freedom to post fans on the OnlyFans website.
Yes, freedom of speech, however, does not mean freedom of consequences. I understand that many people that think freedom of speech also means freedom of consequence. It does not.
What's the consequence? You get paid?
No,
You get money?
Jacob. You
You
can,
show a random foot pic and you get loads of money?
God, with
You
the
get your own wiki feats like page being put in?
nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see
Hey,
that.
hey, I bet you that there are a few and they would pay money for it. Got to monetize every aspect of your life.
No, I have no rebuttal to this because my only rebuttal to this would be what dollar value they're willing and where they can contact me. Oh God, no! I'm not going down that path. So okay, Jacob, in a perfect world, regardless of the studio, what video game would you like to see release official 3D print files for?
Oh, okay. I would say the big one, Helldivers.
Ooh,
And do you know why?
Helldivers.
Because I want to see every time they launch a new one of their season pass things. They're not season passes, they've got a specific term. They're a live service model. So every time they do a new war bond, that's it. I want to see all of the files for that war bond also released. So then you can print any setup in that entire game.
How cool would it be?
Like, come on.
If instead of releasing the files for free, you pay
That was
gated
part of the
them,
war bond.
and it would be a part of that DLC. Now that
Come
would be
on.
cool.
I would do that. I would do that.
That would be cool. Jimmy says Warhammer 40K. There is a 0% chance that happens. As well, I'm sure a lot of people would love that. I understand that I said in a hypothetical world, but a hypothetical world never has Games Workshop being nice to people. Randy Parker with a $20. Thank you for donating to the ad-free stream. Greatly appreciated.
Games Workshop even refuses to admit that they use 3D printing in their production process.
EA frantically scribbling notes.
Yeah, you want live service? Live service outside of the game. Real life service.
Helldive, I mean, just the armor, the weapons. Oh, that would be... Helldivers does have some really nice... God, that's a...
Because they've got so many armor sets, they could drip feed a new armor set every, like, couple of months, and it will never run out.
There are two for me, but they're both kind of on that same line. So Gundam, Right, Gundam has video games.
Yep.
Gundam, but Mech Warrior specifically.
Oh yeah, the Mech Warrior
Yeah,
side.
so it would be very cool to build a Mech Warrior 3D print. But it's like Mech Warrior's OG, kind of like Factorio is. So part of me's like, oh, they would never do it. But the other part of me's like, well, wait a minute. They actually have a good reason to do it
Uh,
here.
you know what I would actually love? Frontier. Frontier, who
I'm not even
make
aware of
Elite
that game.
Dangerous.
Oh, Elite
Elite
Dangerous. Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Because come on, you've got the mega CEOs, and this also extends to Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Words are hard today. Star Citizen, where you've got CEOs with the Boeing planes in front of their desk, or they might have like the Challenger aircrafts, and they've got like the any form of like SpaceX style rocket on their desk. I would 100% have just a cutter from any of those franchises just there. Just there you go. I don't fly real planes. I fly fake planes. Here is my fake plane. And I'd have that on my desk.
Ooh, EVE Online for the spaceships too. That's a good one, Dreams
Hell yeah.
Void. Slice
Hell
of Mine
yeah.
Frankie said StarCraft, so because of that, you must construct additional pylons. Does that sound okay when I cover the mic and say that? I think that's
It does,
roughly okay.
but I do get PTSD from that
Yeah, that's
because I
fair.
was a Protoss player.
Phil, who was one of the original founders of 3D Musketeers, who has opened a tattoo shop with his wife. I think they're married. I'm going to assume they're married. And I only found this out recently when it was served to me in an Instagram reel. I'm like, wait a minute, that's Phil and Hadley. They opened a tattoo shop, so we're going to go get together with them at some point. But he's a Zerg player. And Phil is also a hardcore ZBrush user. Absolutely, well, back in the day, love ZBrush. And Phil's dream was to work with Team Liquid. We ended up actually being able to work with them on a piece. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. Phil's gamer tag is hidden inside of the part. The only way to see it is if the part breaks. You'll see it. But it's the only way to see it. So he designed the Team Liquid logo. We sent it off. Oh, it was such a cool job that we did. But he hid his gamer tag inside because we were using full color 3D printers so we can hide things inside of the parts. And he hid his gamer tag in there. I'm like, yeah. He's like, hell yeah. So he always enjoyed that one. But we made lots of StarCraft stuff back in the day. But they were literally, he had the StarCraft things on his desk. Very fragile. Yeah, like, can you imagine there's a Zerg queen from StarCraft properly 3D printable? Like, dude.
So, do you know what my first ever 3D print was that I did myself?
No. Oh, it was a tank.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
So, this is before I even owned a printer. I was using my college's up 2 minis, worst printer I've ever used in my entire life.
Yeah, that's a printer.
They were the slowest machines on the planet. They were like 15 millimeters per second was a bit spicy for them. And my very first print I ever did myself was a Zerg Ultralisk, and it was literally 1 centimeter big because I had to fit the print in a lunchtime, which only lasted 35 minutes. So I had a 1 centimeter big Zerg Ultralisk, and that
But
was
you
the
loved it.
very first print I ever did for myself. And I loved it. I literally have that in my Monopoly box as the moment, so I can choose it as one of my my tokens if I wanted to.
Do you guys remember your first 3D print? I'd love to. I don't. I mean, it's been over a decade for me. I don't remember what my first print was, but it was I am almost positive my first 3D print was plastic parts for the wooden 3D printer that I built. Like I'm almost positive that's what it was. But if you remember your first 3D print, put it in the chat or in the comments for what your first 3D print is. I'd love to know because I'm sure some of you remember.
And the first 3D print I ever encountered in the wild, so this is the very first time I ever saw 3D printing. It was at the University of Lincoln because they had a little printing lab, and they were printing neon yellow minions on like I think it was an Ultimaker 2 just came out, and they were printing yellow minions, only half of them, and I bought one because I was a sap, and I they charged me 40 quid for half a yellow minion. Yeah, that's my face. Now that I'm in the industry, I'm
How
like,
many?
holy
But how
shit, I
many?
was mugged off.
No, but how many years ago, right? Because material was quite expensive back in the day.
This was like over a decade ago.
Yeah, so honestly, it probably wasn't that bad of a deal because it was probably dead solid. You know, it had all these
No. It did have
It had
support
infill.
material.
Okay.
It had infill and support material, but it was only like small. It wasn't big because they took an entire day to make half. And I was like, I'm gonna stay until that print finishes because I want to take it home. I want to have a 3D printed thing in my life. And that's how I got my first ever 3D print to me.
So the oldest 3D print that I have is actually from a failed Kickstarter, the Phoenix 3D machine. Um,
Ooh.
I still have it because it's a set of owls. Um, I met them out at Rapid in 2012, maybe. They were in the middle of their Kickstarter when they were at Rapid, and they had one of their machines there. I had backed the Kickstarter. I was very excited for it. Ended up never getting it. Pretty pissed off at that. And it's why I will never tell people to back Kickstarters, like other than like ones from real small businesses that I believe in, like Luke's Lab with the Pika. But you know, otherwise you're gambling at best. I didn't know you at the time. I didn't know you at the time.
That's it. Just because of that, Grant, we're not going to launch Construct 2 on Kickstarter. That's
Good.
your fault now.
I hope you don't.
Yeah, let's load a 5-figure machine on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
That's
we'll see how well
certainly
that
gonna be
works
a
out for
successful
you.
sale. Yeah, that's gonna really get
Yeah.
funded. 100%, I swear.
Just make your funding the price of one machine so you could be funded.
Yeah, make it the price of one machine and buy it yourself.
The fastest funded Kickstarter ever. But yeah, I still have that part. That's the oldest part that I can like vividly remember that I have. Cause like a lot of the parts that I still have that are old are very unique parts. Like I have pieces from a carbon 3D printer, the resin carbon, before they went to a hardware as a service model. And I got that by answering a question about gold investing, of all things. They were asking random questions to get 3D printed parts, and they had asked what is the best value for investing in the short term currently. I said it's gold, and I won because it is gold. It's almost always gold. But
There's only so much of it, and we're using more and more of it every year.
well, you have to maintain it versus like a stock market where it will move up and down, and you can move that money around. Gold, you have it. You either have to liquidate it or you have to keep it. Those are your only two options. But yes, yeah, the scarcity of the precious metal makes it the value. But God, what are like I've got some Connex 3 parts, Stratasys Objet 500 Connex 3. That was right when they were like acquiring Objet, which turned into the J series line that we see in today. Got some really old metal. I have a copper and an aluminum business card from a company that were 3D printed out of metal. Objectively, the coolest business card I've ever gotten. But yeah, otherwise I don't. And their company's out of business now, which is funny to me. But I still have their cards. I don't really remember my first print. Kind of weird. But I would assume it was to replace the wooden parts of plastic. That's almost always what it was. But yeah, speaking of the first prints, how about cleaner prints? We saw the release of the 6.4.0 alpha firmware for the Core 1 and, you know, all the other buddy printers. But the big one is the Core 1 with the belt tuning wizard and the ability to kind of like eliminate the VFAs. So
I think this is genius. I think what they've done is absolutely
The
genius.
way they've done it is genius, using the lights as a stroboscope, like a timing, like an old-timey timing light, if you will. Super freaking cool. It's very difficult to get on camera, so like everyone that's shown it working, you can't really, it just looks like the
It's
belts
very
are
difficult.
vibrating. The same way that like when you see guys tuning cars with timing lights, you don't see it the way that they see it. It's because the frame rate of the camera does not match the frame rate of reality, and so you end up missing things. It is a incredibly clever way at handling dealing with belt tension, and I am hoping that they implement this on the XL. I guess in theory it could be on the Mark IV and the Mark IVs, but they don't have lights that like look at the print bed. So maybe there's a way to plug in and get a light. Like maybe it's via the USB port on those machines. They could then power an LED light that they could sell that would strobe properly via the USB port's power. How cool, like there would be so many ways to take this, because that it takes out the guesswork, right? Like back in the day, we would use guitar tuners, and you
Yep.
just kind of, you know,
I always struggled with them as well because it's like,
oh,
do I put the tuner directly on the frame? Do I
yes,
put it
where do
next
you
to
put
the
the tuner?
belt?
So the way I
Like,
would
is it
tell
actually
people,
hearing the right thing? Because like the twang of a belt is very different to the twang of a guitar. So it's like, how accurate is it sensing the vibration? Like, I have no
and is
idea.
it, how close does it need to be? Is it, you know, right next to the belt, a foot away, a meter away? Like, where does it need to be? I always said the way you want to tune belts is you want it to twang. Not that you're in the wrong neighborhood in the South, but I need it. I need it to twang like a guitar string, but not like a banjo, like a banjo string. If it is more banjo-y than guitar-y, it is way too tight. Loosen it up a little bit. But now, dude, back in the day, we had springs on our belts. You want to talk about having VFAs? Oh my god, it was so bad back in the day. Uh, but you know, to be clear, it is an alpha firmware, so if you're going to install it, know that things can get messed up. Winslow Joy says the alpha firmware borked my XL. It was failing tool changes, did full recalibration, still failed. Had to revert to the prior release. That is part and parcel of an alpha firmware. It can have problems.
Yep.
If you do have issues,
It comes with risks.
please report the bugs. If they're not already reported, please report them so they can get
Mm.
fixed before the final release. Um, but
And remember, for everyone in Europe, trading standards still exist. So if there's a firmware update and it does something wrong, you can contact Prusa. They will sort it out. That is just a universal
well,
constant.
okay, it's Prusa. They're gonna sort it out anyways. Like,
Yes,
look,
I know, but
for
just in case people don't realize that and they're like, "Oh, I bricked it, and therefore it's my fault." It's not. If you're in Europe, you get European trading standards. They are strong for a reason.
for all the things that Prusa, I think, doesn't get right, like product launches, Prusa just historically does not get right. I hope they don't mess up the index launch. I hope they don't. But what Prusa does do, and it can take them some time, is they figure it out. They get it running in a way that is good. So the Core One, when I saw them at the factory, they didn't have insane VFA issues. There was a little bit, but every printer has a little bit, right? Especially under the right lighting. And my assumption is this has to do with shipping and assembly. When you remove factory calibrated machines and ship them across the world, that's where the problems occur. But yeah, I get it. The XL's cooling has never been fixed. I'm salty about that too. I will forever be salty about that. However, I think this is the first time in a long time that a company has like legitimately listened to consumers and said, this is unacceptable. We need you to work on fixing this. And they came up with what I still think is one of the most unique ways to look at belt vibrations out there.
Mm.
And
I very much like this system. I would like this to go to more machines because
Doug,
it's something that's universally possible.
Dreams Void Doug was saying, why couldn't you use your cell phone and the flash on the phone? Totally right. You could.
Yeah,
There's no reason you couldn't. And that,
like you could have a universal app
with an
where
app.
you just set a frequency that is based on whichever the manufacturer's spec is and strobe it that way.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is stopping you from doing that.
Yeah. Noisy Works is in here. Eve saying, you do have a gray area with the strobing, but plus or minus 1 hertz. But I liked it. Very neat. Actually have a fairly good footage of it. Awesome. I love that. I have not installed it on mine yet. I am personally very hesitant on installing alpha firmware or firmware in general. I know the joke's to be the Grant never updates his firmware. I don't. Because if it works,
In fact, I don't either. Like, if it works and updates happen, I'm more likely to balk something with the update.
If I wasn't actively using my Core 1 for production at the moment, I would be playing with the alpha firmware because I want to really, like, dial in this. But what we're going to do, I've just, because at this point, I'm not going to have it ready before I believe the public release of this firmware. So we're going to film with the exact same file, the exact same print before and after. Before any tuning, like an out-of-the-box Core 1 versus properly tuned with the new firmware and get legitimate differences. Yep. I will say this is like, we see companies, and I guess Bamboo kind of started this, maybe. I don't know. You'll have to help me on this. So Bamboo's the first one that I can think of that have a semi-automatic belt tensioning system where
I think you are right on that.
You loosen some screws, springs auto tension the belts, and then you tighten the screws again.
Actually, I think Stratasys has done that first.
Okay.
Because it's Stratasys.
Fine.
Doesn't explain much, but Stratasys' one is motorized.
Yes.
So they measure it at a pre-calibration and then it automatically does it.
Correct.
I do think Bamboo Lab have a nice middle ground.
Yeah. Cheaty has something similar. The Prusa...
But I will argue, I don't like it. I do not like that type of tensioning system.
I think it leaves a lot of room for variability, especially with the spring rate of the springs themselves. But I think that is much better than trying to trust users doing it themselves. And that's where the stroboscope thing comes in for me of like, you could easily have the tuner in the wrong place and pick up, a frequency that you weren't expecting and you over tighten or under tighten your belts. The stroboscope kind of stops that, right? This stops all of those issues from happening, in my opinion. This is like removing as much of the human factor as possible. And when it comes to dealing with printers and getting them running right, you kind of have to do that because at the end of the day, we as consumers are kind of dumb. We're going to screw things up. I screw things up all the time, right? And if we can't deal with that and try to make it so the machines are smarter to solve the problems themselves with maybe a little bit of human interaction, then we're doomed to have machines that aren't easily serviceable.
Yep.
So I look at the system and say, you know what? Basically every manufacturer has lights inside of their printers, right? There's no reason you couldn't implement a similar system on basically every other machine out there. And I would argue that other manufacturers should absolutely take note of this and look at trying to implement something similar on their machines. I think it would be a huge value to users to be able to make sure everything is right. Like, when was the last time that you rechecked belt tension on your printer?
Which one?
I can tell you.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah,
I check mine quite regularly, but that's because I've got the... I'm going to butcher this because I do not know the actual designer. I should say that now. Behind the Wes 3D tensioner thing. Once I got them, I check it quite regularly. I'm just like, oh, this print failed. Let me check the belts. Just put it on, check it, go off, and it keeps it the same tension. I do not know what that tensioning tool is called, but I do appreciate having a good tension meter.
PF makes.
And PF makes. There we go. So I've got two PF makes tension meters because I put both on the machine at the same time to check both belts, because obviously with tension one, it does something to the other. Yeah, I love them. It's actually one of the things where if you were getting into the hobby, I kind of would recommend having one.
They're so affordable. They're good to have. I have one now. It actually came with a printer that I bought used, so I have one now. Have not used it. Got to be honest.
It's great.
Have not used
It's
it.
great.
I know
Try
they're
it
great.
on like your try it on your Mark III and Mark IVs and just check the tension between
I'm
all
not
of them.
doing that.
Just do it. Just
I don't. No,
it's
no.
that quick.
I don't want to call myself out like that. And it's not in here anyways. It's deep in a box in my garage. I'm not going to go get it.
Ugh.
It would require me going outside because the door to my garage is currently blocked by printers.
Get yourself shipping crates. Give yourself some space.
We're working on that. Shh.
Do
By
it
the way,
faster.
we're looking for a premier sponsor for the expansion of 3D Musketeers. Prusa. Sorry. God. It's not that I'm already working on the proposal for it or anything. But yeah, I really like this method. Yes, you could use the PF Makes Belt tensioner, which, yes, does remove a lot of the problems. But I don't know. There's part of me that likes the timing light style of doing this. So
yeah.
I'm here for it. John Stern's gonna go look for cats. Have fun. Good luck. We love kitties. We hope the cat distribution system chooses you today. Good luck. Yeah, I really, really like this method. It's like nobody's thought of it before, and it's such a dumb, simple idea. It's like, why hasn't anybody thought of this before?
The industry's new. Like people have thought of this before because timing lights exist.
But for tensioning
It's just in a
belts on
different
3D
industry.
printers. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I want to talk to the person that thought of this inside of Prusa or whoever, gave the idea to Prusa and being like, dude. Super cool idea. Since the chat is talking about shipping containers, if you do want to get involved and see what we're doing with the shop expansion, with the containers and all of that, you can join the Discord at the $10 tier and higher. Like the stream, by the way. But you can join the Discord at the $10 tier and higher. There's an entire channel dedicated to the shop expansion, going fully off-grid with it. We have committed to putting the batteries in a separate container. You're all welcome. Even though they're lithium iron phosphate, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but whatever, I'll do it. I have not posted pictures of the new design.
LifePos are generally quite safe.
Very safe, but it's in the event that they become not safe that you don't want to be in the same container.
You'd rather have LifePo than you would have just LiPo. You want life, not LiPo.
Yeah, Life PO4.
Yeah.
Lithium iron phosphate, or LFP is what some people call them now. Yeah, so we're looking at quite a bit. We're going to go fully off-grid with this because I don't feel like getting electrical permits.
It's okay, Grant. You could get yourself some aluminium air batteries. They're fantastic. 4 times the density of LiPo batteries. Downside, can't recharge them.
That doesn't work for me, Jake.
But they're aluminium air batteries.
I don't
so you
care.
can recycle them infinitely. So isn't that just recharging with extra steps? Melting the entire battery down and rebuilding it?
Winslow Joy says, add a second short container for the power systems. Yes. In fact, the containers are going to be like this, in a U shape. Again, join the Discord if you want to be involved in that. I don't want to talk publicly too much about what we're doing until we have a title sponsor for it, and then I can talk about the title sponsor being a part of the job. But yeah, we're looking for 60 plus kilowatt hours worth of batteries, 10 kilowatts worth of solar, starting off with about 15,000 watts of inverter, but probably looking to around 25 to 30,000 watts of inverter power. Run not only my entire house, but the entire shop off-grid, and any extra power we have left over, probably going into crypto mining. But again, That's like
I
Gen
mean,
2.
you should always be crypto mining with renewable energy because it's free energy.
Well, I
Don't
mean,
sell it back to the grid, use it.
there is no value for me to sell it back to the grid. There's not enough money in it. But we will be doing more on the off-grid stuff. So if you guys are interested in like generating your own power, we have a well, so we'll be producing our own water. We're going to have a bunch of like water-based projects coming up, including custom fountains for birds and for aquaponics and things like that. We're going to be doing a whole thing there. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure to like and subscribe. Join the Patreon, PayPal, YouTube channel members down below. $10 tier and higher gets you into the Discord, where at the end of this show, we will be hanging out there where you guys can have a more one-on-one chat with us rather than chatting via text. You'll be able to hang out with us live on camera in the Discord. Chagall says, in Florida, you could produce your own water out of the air. That is fair. That is fair. Tom says you could charge your new electric lawnmower from it. That's fair. Yeah. We've got about 18 kilowatt hours right now of batteries. So we're doing server rack style batteries. I think they'll just be easier. We could do electric eels.
To be honest, they're easier to upgrade in the future, and just they're uniform.
Well,
like you don't need the custom casings of all the other brands. Like server rack batteries is where I would go.
And they're all DIY. So like I have a 280 amp hour kit out in the garage I have to build from Basin Green. They actually sponsored that battery. We have not done the video on it yet because it is way too damn hot for me to do that in the garage. And when it's fully built, it's going to weigh like 300 pounds. So when it's fully built, it really cannot move. But it's a 280 amp hour, 48 volt. It'll settle around 51 volts battery pack. So it's 15.2 kilowatt hours, something like that. It's quite a bit in a 7U, I think, case. And
Okay.
the batteries are not expensive. I mean, that entire thing was like $2,000. Not bad, but they're not UL listed and they have no fire suppression. So those are things that we're going to be working with other companies to solve. I probably can't solve the UL problem, but I can absolutely solve the fire suppression problem. And that's, again, things we're working on. I am not buying
the best
Tesla
fire
batteries.
suppression for that sort of stuff would be I'm just gonna let it burn, but burn safely.
Yes, in a separate container that'll have nothing but batteries and inverters in it. So we'll have a
get a
power
little blowout panel on the ceiling, little blowout panel, so it's got venting, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Why? Then air can get in.
It's a chemical fire. It doesn't care about air.
Right. I understand that. I don't want it. I don't want air to get in. I don't want it. I don't want to give it more fuel.
It won't have more. It's a chemical fire. The air doesn't matter in this case. It's going to keep
that's
heating
fair.
up because it's chemical based. What you want, however, is to have an exhaust point that you can control, because when it goes up, you don't want it to melt the entire container. You want the heat to go somewhere you want. In this case, not towards the rest of your stuff.
If it can melt the steel container, we've got a lot more problems to deal with than that.
Hey, you never know. These chemical fires get hot.
This is why I wanted to work
They
with
also,
the local.
if it's sealed, they get explosive.
It won't be sealed because there will be an air conditioner in there, because we could not have batteries in a sealed shipping container because they would literally thermally run away from how hot the container would get.
But the air conditioner is still sealed.
I don't.
You're
think they're
having
that
two
sealed.
holes in the back. Yeah, they're literally two holes in the back for the condenser tubes to come out of.
We will.
Like you'll need venting. You will need some way.
We'll
to
figure it out.
Even if it's just like the top or like a window is added, made only of plastic. So when the heat goes up, the window melts out.
Yeah, I
That
don't.
is good enough.
I don't want it to turn into a things can come in during hurricane problem too. So it has to be able to withstand
Polypropylene window. Done. It's indestructible.
HD. Just use a cutting board, a UHMW cutting board as a window.
You'll be fine. Look, they use it for body armor. You can use it for a window.
But this is where I would say, if you are someone that has that kind of experience, and maybe you don't have the money to join the Discord, please email me. I will be happy to get you into the Discord, but you'll have to prove that you have the credentials and all of that to, be an expert to assist. Because I want to do it right. I don't want to end up building a death trap. Moving on. Because I really don't want to talk about this publicly until we are, like, I want to talk about it publicly when we have a company that's going to help afford it. Because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But there are some cool features. So I wonder, specifically on the Core 1, do you think that a spring-based semi-auto tensioner would have solved the VFA issues? Or
Nah, just straight up no.
We had some theories that it was related to the X-axis bearing on the Core 1, and from what I can tell at this point, that theory is reasonably dispelled.
So adding tension via the belt would put pressure on the bearings as well. It would put pressure on the entire system.
This is because VFAs
which
show
could
up.
remove tolerance slot.
VFAs show up on the Y-axis as well. If VFAs only showed up on the X and not on the Y, then we could say, okay, it's a mechanical issue on the X-axis. Now, it could be because on some machines, if they're racked a little bit, let's say their belt tension isn't identical, or they're racked in the wrong way, maybe that is creating that skipping. So
I think belt tension can fix a lot of the problems. I'm not entirely certain I'm not entirely convinced that is the issue, because what are they aiming for now? Like 110 hertz?
I don't know.
That's a very high frequency. Like the tension they're putting on those belts is a lot higher than, in my experience, the belt's tension needs to be surprisingly low for 3D printers to make longevity of the belts last for infinite. And it puts less motor strain on the motors because you have less frictional force to overcome due to belt tension. Increasing the tension of the belts might work. I'm not entirely certain
the whole frame,
I'm not entirely certain it is the right move.
Right.
Because it's almost like, let's say it is bearing slop in the motors or in the rails or something else. Adding tension will get rid of the slop. It will also put a lot more load and wear and tear on those parts.
Yeah.
And in reality, you're just kind of band-aiding over the issue. Yeah, I do, however, think the software side of what they've done with the
stroboscope light.
No, the Prusa Slicer update for small movement-based acceleration and jerk.
Right.
I think that's a huge improvement.
But I also think that's the easy band-aid. Right?
See, I don't think that's a band-aid. I think that's an optimization.
Sure. But so, all right, let me back up a little bit, because the issue that I have right now with it is, why don't all Core XY printers have a VFA issue like the Prusa Core 1 does? All right, so this is where I'm like, okay, like, I've built a Trident. It's not even tuned for input shaper, because I killed the board before we did that. And it didn't have, I mean, it had some VFAs, but nowhere near as bad as some of these Core 1s that we've seen. Why does the Core... Is it just that there's something about the design of the Core 1 that makes it really susceptible to VFAs? Because, like, the XL has VFAs too. No one cared about that. I mean, they do now, but they didn't when it came out.
Because the frame design is steel-based, there isn't a lot of dampening in the machine.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, is that the entire machine is kind of an antenna. It's a resonator for these vibrations, where these plastic machines that have plastic all over them, sure, they have some metal in their frame, but they're not stamped sheet metal, right? I'm wondering if the frame of the Core 1 being this unibody of bent sheet metal is actually hurting it. I think it is.
Hard to say. It's hard to say. I do think, however, there's a lot more at play than what the current fixes are alluding to. I
Right.
don't think the belts are the cause.
No.
I think the belts are just a way to gloss over the issue. Like, for example, like, hell, take all of the Construct series of printers that we do. There's a reason we stick with V-wheels instead of linear rails. And it's because of resonance. Like, having a plastic to metal contact before you get to the gantry removes a lot of machine vibration from traveling to the print head. Like, that was an intentional decision. And I feel like the belt tensioning on the Prusa Core 1 is the same, where the belts are a way you can decouple the VFAs from uh the issue. And that doesn't
Potentially.
mean you have to fix it. Like, in all honesty, like, we are being anal. Like, as a community, we are being very anal over what we allow and what we don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if anyone looks at a Stratasys machine, you go, ugh. They've got ringing, they've got vibration issues, they've got VFAs that are worse than anything you've ever seen, but it's okay. And that the industry accepts that. On the consumer side, because we expect perfect, like, hell, the new iPhone launches came out and those phones look gorgeous. They are perfect
With
in
time
every
code?
way of the sense.
With time code? Oh! I'm so mad at this. It's
They are
the
so
first time
good.
in a long time that iPhone has had something before Android. Ooh,
I
dual
tell you.
video recording. Samsung had it in 2016. Go away.
Yeah, Apple is never like really innovated in terms of doing something first,
But
but
they do it better. They just do it
they do
better.
it good.
They do.
They integrate perfectly, and I do feel it's very similar to what's happening with the VFA issues.
Yeah.
Is because the community is used to perfection in consumer grade hardware, we are putting ourselves in a position where we're getting picky about quality. I'm not. I don't even want to use the word defects. Just quality impacts of
Anomalies.
machinery.
I like
Yeah.
the term quality anomalies.
I mean, hell, if you get a CNC machine and you machine the top of a piece of metal, like you plane it flat,
Mhm.
you get machining marks.
Yeah.
Nobody cares what they look like.
Nope.
They're there as part. And if you want to get rid of them, you have to do a post-process. The same with on the side, you get bit chatter.
Yep.
Like you can't get rid of that. That's an inherent part of the machine. And some machines are worse than others, but they can still keep a tolerance. I do fear that because we are getting more and more consumer focused, we are getting to the stage where people are getting picky, and it's just kind of it shouldn't be. We should be okay with the quality. Like, the tolerance of a Core 1 is fine. And frankly speaking, it is kind of fine. There's no real issue. It's just a visual
It's good
artifact.
enough. Yeah, I'm not upset. I think that at the price point, people have a reason to expect better. And I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, the way that the Core 1 is designed and built, they don't necessarily... So, it's funny. Bamboo, because of the way they've chosen to do stepper drivers with an H bridge of MOSFETs, actually makes it easier for them to tune this stuff out, because they can really refine what part of the MOSFET really moves versus having to deal with kind of off-the-shelf style stepper drivers the way that Prusa does. And so they have more control. But I feel like this VFA like issue kind of came out of nowhere and became this like...
It's a very loud part of the industry.
And I don't understand why. It's like none of you cared on the Mark IV, the Mark IVS, or the XL, of which all of them are expensive for what you get. I think there's a decent value, but I think a lot of that value is eroded now that open source is being moved away on Prusa machines. But why did we all of a sudden really start to care with the Core 1? Is it because with the Mark IV and the Mark IVS, other bed slingers are kind of the same way, and then now with the Core 1 being very similar to like a P1S, X1 Carbon, GD Plus 4, Creality K2, you know, is it because there's so much to compare it to now that all of a sudden it matters? I don't know. That's the thing that's always like, huh, how do we deal with this? Like, Reth is in the chat. I was hoping that Reth was going to show up for this one, saying there's a difference between machine parts and consumer expectations. Consumers want things pretty, VFAs look ugly. I totally agree. They've started to learn more about the cause, started to learn how to get rid of them. I would love to see Prusa working with the Unicorn Chasers, Reth's group of like crazy turbo nerd. That I'm saying this lovingly, to be clear. I am a crazy turbo nerd myself, which may or may not help what I'm trying to say here, but the people that are hyper focused on getting the perfect print, I would love for them to be involved in this as well. Like, we have such a cool community of people that can provide so much value, and I would love to see Prusa tapping this community and saying, hey, Prusa has admitted to this problem. Prusa themselves have admitted and say, we have this issue. I would love for them to say, we know you guys are the experts. We would love for you to help us. Because I'm not certain that Prusa themselves have an expert on VFAs. They might. I'm not certain that they do. But I can tell you that Reth's group, they know all about input shaper, belt tensions. They've gone through this, and they're still learning more about VFAs. But they're further along in this path, and I feel like paying them to assist in solving this problem would get us closer to a like ideal solution and make the Core 1 such a venerable monster of a 3D printer that, quite frankly, it deserves to be. The damn thing is built like a tank. There's no reason for that printer to be as strong as it is.
Yeah, just straight up.
Yeah.
But it does make me interested because I just started talking to oh god, I forgot the name of the machine. It's an auto cut and fold machine for sheet metal. And it also does spot weld.
Like a press brake?
All in one. No, not a press brake. So this is I can't remember it. Somebody in the chat will know what this is, and I really hope they say it. But basically, it's a massive automated CNC. You load a bed of sheets, like big 2 meter by 4 meter sheets. It will load one in. It will auto start fiber laser cutting, push it over, fold the parts over, spot weld onto the part, bend it over. It's designed for like heavy duty like sheet metal work where you're doing it for like buildings or cladding and that sort of stuff where you're just doing menial tasks over and over and over again. But I was looking at that machine and that is like the perfect industrial machine for 3D printers now. Like you can do sheet like 1.5 millimeter steel.
That would be cool.
Bend, fold, and weld in one machine on the entire sheet. And it's this big like C-shaped arm that goes under the bed and over the bed. And the sheet moves around almost like a bed slinger. And it's got a laser in the top, it's got a punch, and it's got a folding arm on both the bed and underneath. So it can do both sides. And it will literally cut whatever you need, like tabs, whatever, fold it up, bend it over, tab it in, like laser weld it into place. And apparently it's only mostly used in the construction industry. It's not really used elsewhere.
I mean, machines
and
like that
really
are going to
try and make a printer from that.
Well, they're just such a high cost machine that other industries will say we'd rather have 5 machines that do the same thing in steps than buy the one machine that's a one trick pony. But at least that would be my expectation of that. Reth said every printer has the problem. Some of the solutions are not acceptable to off-the-shelf consumers, and that makes sense. I agree there. And he said that he thought the VFA on the Core one was solved with the new belt tension instructions, to some extent, and that's what we're talking about right now. The stroboscope lighting that they just released in the new alpha firmware. Some people are seeing reductions. Others are seeing the VFA is changing, so it's definitely doing something. And I'm wondering if like the ones that
Yeah.
are seeing it change, if we could look at and say, well, could this be somewhat related to how it was built, right? I would guess that the kits are more susceptible to these problems than the factory assembled units, where the VFAs move, they don't just disappear. Because the kits, now you're dealing with your torque values and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the fact that these can come in kits add such a high level of variability right there that could make tuning this out really, really problematic. But
Yeah.
this way of using the system light as a stroboscope is likely the most trick way that I've ever seen a company do it, and I have to give credit where it's due. That's damn cool. Ref said Prusa needs a vibrations profile test in the vein of ShakeTune. Yeah, they also need an accelerometer that's built into the tool head. Something that Prusa doesn't have. You can buy an accelerometer, but the accelerometer doesn't get rid of the VFAs. Reth, we can talk about this in detail more off stream if you want. We have a bunch of people in our Discord that have been like logging all the things that they're trying, and just it's more than what ShakeTune deals with, and it's what leads me to believe that there's something in the hardware of the machine itself that is directly impacting the VFAs. So Sip of Coffee asked if the Magneto X has VFAs.
Yes.
It does.
Just straight up, yes. But it's different.
Well,
their VFAs are different.
They are different. It does have VFAs. They're cleaner than a stock Core 1, in my opinion. But it is a maglev movement system, but it still has rails.
It's not. There's no levitation. It's a linear drive motor.
Magnets don't touch each other. It is a linear drive motor, but
it's a linear drive motor. Then technically, so is the stepper motors a maglev because the magnets don't touch each other.
Okay, Jacob, you're right.
There we go. It's a linear drive motor because they use a linear rail as well to hold the gantry on. There's no floating on that.
Fair.
Get told.
Fair.
But they still have VFA. So the big issue with the Magneto X is it has a hunting issue, which is caused by the PWM circuit for the linear drive motors. It's one of the known issues of linear drives. But secondly, it still uses it still uses balls.
Yeah, it still has rails
in the linear motor.
Still has MGN12s,
and that's where you get them from.
Yep.
But it still exists, and it's also why going to ball screws and servo motors doesn't fix it either, because the servo motors have a resonance, and so do ball screws use balls, and they will show up.
Well, they don't have the backlash, that a traditional MGN linear rail would have, or even an LM8 or an LMUU style. Like
they still have some, but it's minor.
It
is very minor,
significant. Like we're talking orders of magnitude less. It's not like it is, like 5% less. No, we're talking like 90% less backlash. Ball screws are kind of known. This is why we need a rack and pinion system. We need rack and pinion everything. But yeah, I think this is a unique way of dealing with it, but I'm wondering how effective this will be for all users, right? Because, like, objectively, I think the Bamboo fanboys, fangirls, fan people, whatever, have a valid point here that you should not have the amount of VFAs that you have on a machine at this price category, right? So the Core 1 assembled is basically the same price as an H2S.
How heavy is the gantry for the H2S?
I have no clue. The Core 1's a heavy
Because so
machine.
that, well, not the machine, but the gantry.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you've actually seen it in the Construct 2. We are using a much heavier gantry. Our gantry weight
Right.
is now a kilo. It's an
Jeez.
entire kilo. And that reduced VFAs because it added mass to the system and
Mhm.
that acts as a dampener. It could actually be Prusa has done a better job with their gantry. And because they've done a better job with their gantry, we're seeing more VFAs show up because there's no mass to absorb the sudden changes that VFA impacts. Words are hard today. I'm so tired. You can tell because I'm speaking slowly and slower over time as I'm trying to finish the end of the sentence as it buffers in my head. But no, like mass does dampen a lot of things. If there was a belt issue, adding mass would massively reduce the belt issue because then you get a consistent force as it moves. It's the same with like frame resonance. Having mass does get, well, it doesn't get rid of resonance. It just means you have to move a lot more to
Mhm.
get the same amplitude of resonance. So it could just be Prusa's done a good job with their head and the gantry. And because they've done a good job, it's showing up more.
I don't know, but I think that the current comparisons that exist of the hey, this is what my Bamboo can do and this is what the Prusa can do. I don't think they're unfair. And I'm glad
No,
that it is
I think
lit
they're right.
I'm glad that it lit a fire under Prusa's ass because look, I saw very few complaints of the VFA issues. I've seen much more complaints about burning A1s than I've seen about Prusa VFA issues before Prusa started to, publicly say something about it and say, hey, we understand this is a problem. We're going to be working on it. Then, as soon as they said it was a problem, yeah, you saw more people acknowledging it. But prior to them acknowledging that it existed, I've seen way more A1s that have caught fire and have burned than Prusa Core ones with VFA arguments. So now
You
this
know what? I would take VFAs over my machine burning down.
I will too. But I would argue that the A1 and the Core one are not comparable machines. They're very different. Uh, you know, they're very very different. Reth said, "How true are bamboo speeds in actual prints? If you have a long enough straight wall, yeah, you get it. The big thing with the bamboo is that it's a very very high acceleration, but the stock profiles, in my opinion, are way too fast for their hot ends, and they cap their. It's like a lot of people will use the bamboo like the bamboo brand filament profiles for generic filaments, and they run into issues where the machines don't succeed properly because there's some sort of filler in the bamboo filament that makes it faster to print. But even the stock profiles, I think, are like a cubic millimeter a second or two too fast, and if you slow them down a little bit, I do believe you get better print quality out of the machines. um it's
But even
funny.
with that said, you are not getting the big ticket advertisements on their website. And
No,
it's something that I don't normally like talking about it because it always sounds like, oh, competitor company is slating another competitor company.
the two of you are not
But
comparable.
this we are not comparable. And in reality, what pisses me off is the fact that the entire industry has gone towards this claim big number, never provide big number or validation for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not genuine in any way. So I'm literally loading up Orca Slicer now to get the latest official profiles for Bamboo Slicer. Now, I'm not going to download Bamboo Slicer. I am going to download Orca Slicer because honestly, they ain't updating their profiles that regularly. They're going to be the same profile, and it's literally just loading at the moment. But the adverts on their website where they say like, oh, 500 millimeters per second, you are not getting. There's no way for you to get.
You'll get it in movement, but yeah, unless you're running it like 0.05 millimeter layers, you'll be flow rate capped before anything else. Can you print at 500 millimeters per second? In theory, sure, but not at 0.2 millimeter layers, not with their standard heater. You simply won't be able to. And it can I bring up what we well, I've talked about it before, so I'm going to bring it up anyways. When we were, so Jacob was asking me about the Construct 2's flyer, which is, I guess, is now public since it's been given out of the show.
Yes, it's public.
Right? So it is public.
Yeah.
I had a lot of feedback on it because Jacob was using real numbers. And I'm like, no one is going to believe that number. Just say it's greater than this. And when they question you, give them the real number. Because then they'll know that you're being legit. If you just put the real number, it sounds fake. Because you guys have made a machine that is so fundamentally fast. Right? And it's like, even when you showed it to me, I'm like, I don't believe this. Like, I do not believe what you are putting in front of me. This isn't real. He's like, no, here's the profile. It's actually real. And these are all the settings. He said, great, I need to see the settings that you got, that you use to get these numbers, because otherwise I don't believe you. Because if you're running ABS at like 320 degrees Celsius and a 0.5 millimeter or 0.05 millimeter layer, of course you're going to get print speeds, 1,000, 1 meter per second. But if you're running a 0.6 nozzle with a 0.8 extrusion width and you're still able to get like 500 to 600 millimeters per second, brother, you are flowing some plastic. And yeah, the Construct 2 is capable of absolutely insane numbers. But again, it is a business class machine for business class use cases. If you go there expecting a $1,500 Construct 2, you will be fundamentally disappointed. If you want a machine for your business that will run completely lights out and operate in a business class environment, go check them out for that. If you are expecting a machine that is at a Bamboo price class but is built in the UK by a small business, by a family-owned business without millions of dollars of external capital, you're completely wrong in what your expectations are for machines from bespoke manufacturers. If to give you a comparison, this is buying an Origin PC and getting and expecting like something from Dell, right? No, you're buying an Origin PC. You're paying for the fact that it is custom built. You're going to pay a little bit more, but you're going to get much better value, better customer service, better warranties, better products, better parts. I don't know. Better pizza, Papa John's. I mean, construct-3d.com, links are in the description down below. And yes, Jacob, I did turn that into a call to action to go check out your company. And I don't care if you don't like it.
But no, I was actually going to save half of that for probably later, because it actually flows very nicely into what I've been doing over the last week.
It worked right here really well, so I wanted to
anyway, no, going back to Bamboo Lab, because I have now loaded up all their materials and their printers. So I'm using a P1P because it's like the most average machine that they've got over everything. Their standard profile has the first layer is at 50 millimeters per second. Outer wall is at 200. Inner wall is at 300, and then everything else is between 200 and 270 for millimeters per second. It is no 500s. The only thing set to 500 is the travel speed. For accelerations, assume everything is at 10,000 except for the outer wall, which is at 5,000.
Yeah.
Which isn't even like massively that good. Like, it's fast and it's aggressive, but it's not what they are really advertising on the website. And
Well,
now
they
this
say
is where it
speeds.
becomes the
They don't say
kicker.
print speeds. They say
Yeah.
speeds.
And now this is where the kicker hits, because I do not like this about a lot of common companies now, is even in the slicer, they'll say 200 for speeds, 300 for speeds as it's printing. If I open up the actual material setting, so I am going to
Yeah,
choose
they're capped at like
Bamboo
12
Lab
or 15.
PLA Basic. So this is Bamboo's own PLA,
Check their
and it
generic
is currently
profiles.
capped to 21,
Check their
which I
generic
think is
profiles.
already too high.
No, it's
Their
not.
generic, their generic one, however, is set to 12.
Yeah, it's 12.
And that means you are never getting those speeds.
No.
Because 12 cubic millimeters per second on a 0.4 nozzle is not high. I will actually find out exactly what that is. I am adding a cube.
But the trick that Bamboo does do is that their accelerations are so high, their perceivable print speed is much faster than most machines because you lose so much time in the acceleration and deceleration of other machines. So like my XL, I think my travel moves are like 3,500 or 4,000 millimeters squared per second, right? Or whatever it is, millimeters per second squared. The Bamboo
It's 150 millimeters per second, by the way, is capping on a 0.2 layer height on a 0.4 nozzle. You cannot print faster than 150 millimeters per second.
Yeah, they're flow rate
so
capping.
Even the slicer saying 200 and 300, you are getting at most 40% of what the slicer is trying to make it do, because you physically cannot do it. I don't like this.
And
this is disingenuous.
Reth is pointing out the thing. If most consumers don't know this, or said, oh, they do not know this. Yeah. Most consumers do not know this. And that's the trick. The trick is they don't. They don't. They simply don't know. And because they trust what manufacturers say, and very few content creators are actually going to test it because, I'm sorry, but Bamboo's got a lot of money to throw around, and I don't have to agree with the creators that keep their mouths shut when there are issues with Bamboo printers. Like, everyone that isn't talking about the fire issues with the A1, shame on you. You're considering your wallet more than consumer safety, but whatever. I'll be Gamers Nexus if none of you are going to step up and help me with it. But, you know, the fact that people aren't going to test and verify manufacturer claims anymore because those manufacturers are paying them enough money to not, you know, bother doing it is shameful, in my personal opinion. But I'm someone who is on the blacklist for quite a few companies, so much you might even call me Raymond Reddington. But at the end of the day, I don't necessarily care because I have a business that backs up this channel. While we would love to have more sponsors, and we are actively seeking sponsors, I am not, under any circumstances, going to risk my credibility, the credibility of this channel, my company, the show, Jacob's credibility, for money. Outside of, like, millions of dollars, and we'll be very clear about that, because nobody would blame us for this.
Yeah, we both have price tags, but they ain't cheap.
No. It is enough money for me to make a video being nice about it and then disappear. That's it.
Yep.
But
screw you guys. Like, this community can. There might be like hints that something has happened. Like, I might be driving a nicer car, but you will know when that happens.
You know what? I'll probably still drive the same old.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Honda.
I like my car.
I like the old cars.
Comfy. I don't care about high speed. Actually, no. You know what would happen? I wouldn't care about the rev limiter anymore on that car. That's all that would change. It's like, oh, I'm not going to rev it past 5,000 RPM.
Petrol doesn't matter anymore.
I'm revving it at 8,000 the entire time. Look, it's a wet belt. It's going to die eventually anyway. So I might as well kill the motor before the belt goes.
But realistically, you know, we are not sacrificing our integrity for money, and it upsets me when it is clear to me that others do, and we're not at the position with enough evidence to call them out on it. But there's really no other reason they wouldn't be talking about this, because these were the same people that were vocal about the Cheaty fires. The Cheaty fire potential when it got hot. This is literally melting people's cases and burning circuit boards, and nobody but us is talking about it. So where are those same people? This is what upsets me. So,
yep. Like we need to hold every company, not just Bamboo Lab, but every company to the same standards. And this has to also go towards slicer profiles and claims on websites and marketing. Because one of the things that I will probably be getting into later when I say what I've been doing for the last week is everyone that I have talked to that knew about 3D printing, which to be fair, wasn't very many because that type of thing I was doing does not have that many people in it. They all said they cannot trust marketing. They do not trust it.
I've told you I don't trust marketing.
Uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. Like scanner companies, I don't trust their marketing at all. I don't even. Nope. I don't trust their marketing at all. And
I mean, hell, have a look at the FL Sun, where they're claiming like 1.1 meter per second print speeds.
No.
And then you look at the quality of the part, it's like, you're never doing that. You're physically never doing that.
There's no chance.
It's like, technically, a Construct 2 can print at 2 meters per second, as long as you're happy with it under extruding 90% of its material, and it's making horrible sounds, and the part is unusable.
But it can do it!
But the motors can spin that fast, so it can do it. Yeah, no. Not doing that.
Yeah. It comes down to integrity, and do the marketing team and the engineering team have, some checks and balances in place? Because, like, a company the size of Bamboo, I can't necessarily blame them. I blame the marketing people behind it. I don't blame the engineers. The engineers know what it's limited at. It's the marketers that decide to say, so what's the max you get? Oh, well, the theoretical. Okay, that's the number I want. And then they go with it. Because bigger number better. Right? I look at it and say, I would rather have real numbers that are verifiable, that are, dare I say, conservative. Right? I want the 1990s motorcycle and Japanese sports car market of 3D printers, where they're deliberately derating the motors, the top speeds, because to get under the insurance companies.
Yeah, I want the electric bike companies. They're like, yes, this bike will only do 22 kilometers per hour.
Until you turn the key a little bit more and it unlocks it.
No. It's 22 kilometers per hour in stop-start mode, and there's a little button to go into pedal assist mode. That means you pedal faster. I had one of those bikes. It could go at 60 miles an hour. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I want to see the old school Skyline GTR market, okay? How much, someone find it for me. How much horsepower was the R34 Skyline rated from the factory for? Because it made something like an extra 100 horsepower above the rating from the factory, so that they could sell it on a much cheaper insurance plan. Or the homologation people, where they have to make a certain amount of vehicles to race them in Le Mans. Okay, so they homologate like 20 of them and sell them, and that's it.
What was the one that I think it was like Toyota did, where they needed X amount of vehicles to like pass a safety check, and they only had half that, so they built half in one car park, did half the safety check,
and then
moved the cars, yes, and then did it again.
That might have been Toyota. That feels like a very Toyota, although that a Volkswagen would have done the same thing. The superbike world of the late 90s, early 2000s with the Hayabusa, where they collectively came together and said, okay, we all know we can go faster than 199 miles an hour, but this is really stupid, and we shouldn't do it. Can we all collectively agree to limit these bikes to a lot less than 199 miles an hour? Yes. And none of them agreed. None of them did. None of them ever did. They did, I guess they did for a little bit, but now like the Ninja H2, that's, I don't know if it's supercharged, procharged, or turbocharged, but it makes a lot of steam.
Well, that's literally just like the tank industry where everyone's like, yes, our tanks are 100 tons because of regulations. And then you weigh the tank and it's 138 tons, and they're like, whoops, I guess the up armor package added 38 tons.
Oopsie doodles. Yeah.
It's
And
like
someone,
nobody said it wasn't without all the fuel, the engine block, the tank barrel, or the ammo in it. Oh, too bad.
Soundspark did do the conversion. 1 horsepower is 745.7. I always do 746 watts per horsepower.
Wait, how many horsepower then is 8 kilowatts? If it's 746,
whatever
rounding it up,
8,000 divided by 746
almost
is.
10 horsepower. My electric longboard was roughly 10 horsepower.
That's dangerous.
Insane.
It
had anti-lock braking because it had 2 motors on the back. It had 2 4-kilowatt motors. It would actually anti-lock as you go around corners, so it would keep you at a certain pitch.
10.7 horsepower.
Hell yeah! I want to make another with 4 motors. I want to put 16 kilowatts in on a plank of. Well, this is a carbon fiber board now. Actually, no, it's not even a carbon fiber board. It's a foam board with a fiberglass coating over it.
As long as you don't start talking about sending satellites into space for internet and creating your own rocket company, I will continue to allow you to make dangerous electric vehicles. But when you start becoming an egotistical maniac, I'm going to shut that down real fast.
But I'm already egotistical maniac.
Yeah, but you're
the
not.
The problem is I only endanger myself.
You don't have a space company, is what I'm saying.
Well,
you have a lack of space company.
We are sending stuff to space. Like we've worked with the UK Space Agency.
Yes, but you're not building you're not building a rocket to send to space, Jacob.
No, we put the thing in the rocket. The little
anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. I've done.
Turns out really cheap. Really cheap. It's like $800 a kilo to put something in space.
No, not out here. You're lucky. It's much more expensive here. And I'm in the space area too.
Yeah, CubeSats are cheap.
I can't discuss it, but we have I can discuss it, I guess, very vaguely, but we have a customer that we're likely going to be scanning and putting on either a high altitude weather balloon or a CubeSat. I could tell, in theory, I could tell you exactly what it is, but it will not help you believe this story at all. Jake, you know this customer, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the one that you think.
So.
And it's like, if I told you who the customer is and why they want to do it, you will believe me less than you currently believe me. So I'm just not going to tell you. But yeah, I guess when I look at... I wonder how all the other companies handle the VFAs. Because, like, my Cheaties have VFAs. My Bamboo is VFAs. And, like, why did nobody care? Why did nobody care until Prusa had it? Now,
I do think there's a bit of straw that broke the camel's back with the entire thing. Maybe a bit of manufactured outrage over the fact it's expensive, as well as with VFAs, and that customers suck. Just straight up, like, it's just part of business, is understanding that customers are very vocal.
Yeah.
Offer nothing in return to fix anything, and always demand perfection in an industry that isn't perfect. So, I don't know. I do think it was bad. Like, the VFAs were poor. And I expect a company like Prusa on their 5th generation machine. Or is it 5th? No, it's 6th. It's a 6th generation machine because it goes Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, XL Core 1.
The XL is not a the XL is a completely, that's a Gen 1 product.
It's different, but it uses a lot of the gantry design, doesn't it?
But it
uses the same gantry.
I would argue that the upgrade path is the generational path.
Okay. So it's a 5th generation machine. You would expect it to be better.
Yes.
Or at least I would expect it to be better.
Yes. I do expect it to be better. I want it to be better. And I'm frustrated that it's not. Now, it's interesting because when people were talking about it heavily and Prusa was very quiet about it, we had started to film a video all about it. Right? I was ready. I had all my test prints. I still have all my test prints. Before we had the video ready to go, they said, we acknowledge the issue. I'm like, all right, scrap the video. The company acknowledged the issue. That to me is the biggest factor here that I care about. I get that there's a problem. I get it. And I don't like that. Right? But the fact they are acknowledging it and they're solving it is the big issue here. Or really the big factor as to why I haven't been flaming them for it. Because a company that willfully ignores their consumer base and says, where the consumer base says, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, and then the company does nothing about it, you deserve to be called out for your actions. Or, in that case, your inactions. Companies that acknowledge these issues deserve to be thanked. Now, it's funny because we shouldn't have to go through this. We shouldn't have these issues. We shouldn't have to thank companies for giving a damn. But here we are. And I would argue that Prusa's one of the only ones that do anymore. Yeah, you pay a lot of money for their machines, and yeah, it's hard to continue to justify the price. I think the price of a Core 1 is very expensive. However, you can't argue that the company doesn't care. They absolutely do. And I think that's the key takeaway from this, is that it's not perfect. They're still working on it. But they care. They could have willfully ignored this, and their machine still would have sold. It's a Prusa. People are going to buy it simply because it's the newest Prusa.
Yep.
But instead, the company, the people, the man are all saying, we acknowledge this issue. We're going to fix it. Here's how you can be involved. And for that alone, A+, good job. Keep doing what you're doing. You have anything to add on that one?
No, not really. I think you summarized it quite well. Prusa have done above and beyond for trying to fix this. And while we can be bitter about, it shouldn't have been there in the first place, in reality, we're in an industry where they didn't have to fix it, and we are being picky customers. So, what?
But
good job on them.
We have the opportunity to be picky now. Right? 6 years ago, we didn't have the option to be picky. Before Bamboo, no one had the ability to be picky. It was you used a Prusa or you used an Ender. Or you built a Voron, but building a Voron was a whole different world. Right? Yeah, there were other companies, but they were all just clones of an Ender. Right? Everyone cloned Creality. Prusa was on kind of a pedestal of their own. They were better. They were better than pretty much anybody in the industry, especially at their price point. The tables have turned. I think Prusa's falling behind in the price category game, but I'm glad that they haven't forgotten about who got them to where they are. Because they absolutely could. And it would be what it would be. I wouldn't blame them. It upset me, but,
Yep.
Yeah. So, they've been busy again this week because they also released the latest update to EasyPrint.
I don't know about this.
So, EasyPrint is their, browser-based print directly to your machine, right? You get it from printables.
Isn't it that the one button press, it just sends the file with a pre-done slice? And
kind of. it's more than one button, but yes, right. It is their answer to the Maker World Print Direct button. EasyPrint is like washed down version of Prusa Slicer that runs in a browser, in an app, right? It used to only be for Prusa printers. This past week, they updated it, and other manufacturers can add their machines. They launched instant support for Elegoo. I think Anycubic was in there. Bamboo is in there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so,
look at them playing nice.
There's a note in here that says, only if Grant's feeling ranty. Jacob, I need you to give me a little jingle right now. Give me a little jingle.
You put me on the spot. I can't do that sort of stuff.
It's Grant Rant time. Sit back,
There we
relax.
go.
We're getting ranty. Jacob, you're welcome to go to the bathroom, get some water. I got this for like the next 5 minutes.
I get to sit back.
Yeah.
Gotta put the feet up. Please enlighten me, Grant. What is the rant for today?
Maker World, we can no longer recommend as a company. Because, and this is something that's new to me because I haven't used it in forever.
Okay. Now, those are big words. You need to clarify that. What do you mean?
Maker World, you cannot download files from them more than 5 times. You cannot download more than 5 files before you have to log in. They lock you from being able to download. Going incognito doesn't work, so it's likely an IP thing. And so Maker World becomes completely unusable to you if you do not log in. That's horseshit.
Okay.
It's
why does it matter?
Anti-competitive. Why does it matter? Because nobody else does it.
Colts 3D, you have to log in.
Do you? I don't use Colts.
Yeah. You have to log in. And I'm pretty sure same with my Mini Factory.
Not with printables. Not with Thangs. Thangs had it. Thangs used to have it. I yelled at them for it. They removed it. I never had an issue with Maker World. I always said that competition is good for this industry. But competition where you're forcing me to create an account, why are you forcing me to create an account? Why are you forcing me to give you all of this information just to use your platform? F off. Like, absolutely F off. There is no bloody reason that a company should require you to log in to download files that are willfully uploaded for free by users. Because if users are not getting that login data too, getting access to the emails, the people that are downloading their files, then there is no reason. It's data collection. What else would it be? Printables, while I understand very much in the black and orange theme of Prusa, does not require an account, does not require anything to use it. You can just go there, download files, as many as you want. In fact, Bamboo was caught scraping printables. What did Prusa do? They did block the IPs of the scrapers, but they didn't force you to log in. This is the most ridiculous way of further data collection that is unnecessary. I get it that it's free and that means I'm the product. Just log my IP when I download something like everybody else does. Don't force me to use an email. Because it's garbage. It's just data collection at this point, and you're not even putting it through a thin veil. Like, you're throwing it in my face, and I'm so pissed off about it. It upset me, like, to the point where it was a customer that wanted a part printed. And like, oh, I found it on Maker World, here's the model. I'm like, I actually can't download it from Maker World. I'm locked. I'm literally, like, IP limited from Maker World. And I'm like, can you download it and send it to me? They're like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm like, okay, cool. They should not have to do that. That's stupid. That's so stupid. And I'm not a fan of it at all. It upsets me. And we need to do better as a community and say, this is not acceptable. Right? If Bamboo wants to limit their click print thing to just Bamboo in Bamboo's Maker World, fine. But for people to spend the time to upload things to your system where they are actively advertising and spending money to try to get people to download them, and then you're going to keep people from downloading the models unless they log in, get out. Absolutely get out. You've no right. I mean, I guess you legally have a right, but I don't like it. And it upsets the hell out of me because this is not what this community is about. This community is about sharing and working together to build a better community of people, of machines, of files, a better repository that exists online indefinitely. And locking it behind I have to give you my email and a password, which you could use burners, but is still an extra step that is required, will make me never recommend them until they change. Period. Grant's upset. Anyways, Prusa's done the exact opposite and said, hey, we're totally cool. Whoever wants to use it, you can apply to submit profiles.
I'm just sitting here very silently because I actually don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think
like,
it is.
All of my favorite websites do that already. Like GrabCAD is probably the one I use the most in terms of like industrial design. You have to log in to download anything. Same with a lot of the other like file content sharing sites for like documentation.
But here's the trick, Jacob. You never had to. This was an update that forced it. And that's
You're right. It is an update.
They turned this free platform that was open for the community to, pay the toll of your data or you can't get anything.
I don't
That's
know.
what I
feel like. I feel like even if Prusa did the same, I would understand. And I feel like if Prusa did the same, we wouldn't be talking about it.
If Prusa did the exact same thing, I'd make a dedicated video being pissed off at them for it. Because it goes against the ethos that has made Prusa successful. The community.
Yes, you're right. It's a very corporate, standardized thing.
It's like, I'm mad at Bamboo for this, but like, why didn't I see this coming? This is exactly in line with what Bamboo does. They say, oh, we're for the community. Then they lock you out. And then they find ways to take what they're scavenging.
You've won me over. Removing features is generally bad unless there is a justification. And at the moment, the justification is give them money. That's it. It's give them money.
Well, no,
and that
it's
money
give
is
them data.
Yeah, which is money. Data is money.
It's a roundabout thing, right?
Oh no, the oil we dug up from the ground isn't directly money. It's money. You're digging money up the ground. You're making money.
Yep.
Money, 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 money.
So Zach's man is saying, Grant, let me be the devil's advocate. The reason this is done is due to the community doing everything they can to abuse the download system to get more free points, to get free stuff. Fix your download system. You're logging the IPs. We already know. Every website does this. They log the IPs. YouTube does this. I can see where you all are in the world right now. I can check my viewer activity and see exactly where the viewers of our stream are located live. Hell.
That's it, everyone. Turn the VPNs on. We're going to Venezuela today.
Wow, he's really popular in Venezuela. Like, it's not like that's just part of the World Wide Web, right? And instead, they took the easy way out, which is to say, we'll take the data at the same time. And yes, have a junk email account, yada, yada. Like, there are ways around it, but you shouldn't have to do it. They took a free system and they put I'm going to put air quotes on paywall because it's not technically a paywall, but you're paying with your data, a toll, if you will, to now use the system. And that's dumb. That is anti-consumer. Again, it's another activity from Bamboo that is anti-consumer, and it upsets me. I do not like it. And yet, because they make cheap printers, the community doesn't give a shit. Because as far as the community is concerned, they're absolved of all sins because I get to make my plastic crap. No! Hold companies accountable. And when they do a rug pull on you because they're too lazy to fix the problems in their system, Hold them accountable. You shouldn't just sit there and take it. That's BS. You get 2 rants today, and if that's not worth a like, I don't know what is. Vendulis with the $4.99 says, is it okay that Prusa just allows you to download? Or allows you to download. If it's NSFW, you need to verify your age due to UK law, ? And can they be sure it's not NSFW? That one I don't know.
That one is not for this podcast. We are not equipped for this because this is more of like a software engineering side and a data side that honestly Prusa needs to worry about. I know there are some, let's call it funny art websites for specific users that have gotten around it. Like they haven't put it in and they're not being chased after it. In reality, the UK law for it is kind of stupid and it's very easy to get around it with a VPN. And it's only if it goes into the certain categories that they recognize. So this is more of a Prusa thing.
Wait, so I went to printables and I searched anime. Something that should very easily come up with NSFW things, okay? The first page has none. And I'm not certain if that's because I'm not logged in. Does Prusa hide NSFW links if you're not logged in? I don't know if they do.
I mean, just typing anime is not actually that helpful.
I figured for this community it was going to give me something lewd and lascivious, right? Like,
no, that's what Cults 3D is for.
You know, I guess I can. I guess
actually, to be fair, I'm not finding anything with just generic letters that I'm putting in that normally would get something up.
I'm gonna search NSFW and see if it comes up. Oh, well, yeah. I found someone who is. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh God, this is gonna be in my search history.
Nobody cares.
Okay. Yep. Okay. So NSF content for adults only. This 3D model contains NSFW content and can only be viewed by logged in adult users. That is technically fine. I don't have a problem with that because that's like verifying your age on an adult website. That's acceptable. Right? It's for the friggin' children. Fine. But they're not forcing you to log in to download regular models. I do think I found... Yeah, I think I found a user. All right, I'll submit it. I think I found a user who's just reselling other people's models. We'll see. I'll send it. I'll send it through to my contact. With the message, these people seem shady. So I wonder, does that mean that NSFW links... Yeah, I would assume that means they're not present in the search feature. That would make sense to me. And, okay, fair. But I can still download whatever the hell I want otherwise. You're not limiting me to my ability to download 5 models before I have to log in. That's stupid.
That is insulting.
Yep. Yep. Like, and you know, Dreams Void says, I have opinions on the whole logging in for age verification. I get it. Look, I live in the States. We don't have, I guess Florida currently does, but there are some relatively strict. UK's kind of, you guys are known for being quite strict on the whole, you know, identity logging in thing, like to the point of the NSFW channels in our Discord are locked.
Yeah, they got locked.
Yeah,
they got locked.
Yeah, they're locked for UK.
Gotta put your passport into Goon and see random memes,
which
both are just as bad as each other to the government.
Yep, and so VPNs rule the world, baby. But okay, fair. And you could argue and say, well, you know, it's my responsibility to police my children, whatever. Am I being hypocritical here? Am I being hypocritical by not getting
What,
on
you
Prusa
being
for the...
hypocritical?
I know I'm legitimately asking, am I being hypocritical by
Probably.
not getting on Prusa for forcing me to log in to see the NSFW model?
No.
Or are we okay with that?
I think it's completely fine, but I also think what is it? What is the bloody bamboo one called again?
Maker
Maker
World.
World. There we go. I also think Maker Worlds is actually fine. It sucks,
If
but
it had
it sucks because they're removing features.
if it had
In reality,
started this way, then I'm fine with it.
yeah.
It didn't start this way. And that's what's upsetting to me. Prusa, as soon as they implemented the NSFW stuff, this was the de facto standard for how they did it. Right? This was not, as soon as they realized, hey, we got to deal with this NSFW stuff, they locked it behind, you have to log in. Fine. But it's not like they said, everything's free, and now it's your data. Prusa does it for age verification because they're in the EU. Bamboo does it because they're too lazy to fix their point system.
I don't know. I think it's shit. But
I don't know.
I also don't think it's a big deal.
Please, people watching, there's 180 of you watching right now. Am I being hypocritical? And why? If you think I'm being hypocritical, I want to know why. And I want to have an honest to God conversation about this, because am I giving Prusa the benefit of the doubt? Because I know that I will traditionally give them the benefit of the doubt because they've been for the community for years. But am I being too harsh on Maker World? I think the reason I'm being harsh is because they said from the beginning that we're open, we're free, you know, download as much as you want. Then they locked us. The same reason I got mad at Cricket for changing it from an ownership to a lease. Right? I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm curious. I'm gonna start reading the comments. So Andrew Rogers said, honestly, if I'm looking for something on printables while I'm at work and it's work related, the last thing that should pop up is a file for a NSFW thing. Fair.
Counterpoint. You're at work and you're an adult. Being able to filter through that because you're at work is just part of the job.
But I would argue that a lot of filters for work, like for work companies, would say, nope, NSFW is on this website, can't access it. Yeah. So forcing the NSFW behind the login wall actually kind of solves a problem. But
in reality, I just wouldn't work at a place that if they lock down certain pages, because half of working as a adult in just any industry, especially creative, is you might need certain websites or certain things might come up on other websites. And in reality, it's up to your professional discretion to either ignore and move past it. And if, let's say, your manager looks over your shoulder and there's 100 photos of puppies and one photo of a boob, they shouldn't be jumping down your throat because there's a photo of a boob. Like, that is part of just being on the internet. And if they can't understand that, I would be more worried about why are you working in a place where they cannot see you're doing a professional job and being professional about it.
I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. That's a personal decision, I guess, for each person. Opiniono says biased, perhaps. Okay, fair. Vendolus says the fact that you can download 5 models shows that it's not about regulatory reasons. Okay. Sip of Coffee says, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Burner emails are so fast. They are. Very fair. Mention that. Very fair. Directed T3CH says, it's a business. The dollar is the bottom line. It was abused and they came up with a solution. They did. It is a solution that works. Not going to deny that, but I don't have to like it. I think it's the... I think it's the cheap solution that allows them to mine more data. And I think it's the data mining that I have problems with. Dreams Void said, no, you're not being a hypocrite. It's a change that was made after they had that stance. Yep. I think that's really the big thing. Randy Parker says, I think Prusa's doing it completely correctly. I'm not mad at Bamboo because I don't trust them on stuff like this anyways. Fair. Reth says, if you want to see NSFW stuff, work in the patent office and examine medical devices.
Oh, you'll see a lot of that.
I don't want to know. Gilbert Nar said, I agree with you, Grant. Bamboo is doing what Bamboo is doing is solely for the data, not for any other benefit. Yeah. Zaxman says, I can hear you are not from the EU. At my work, the only thing blocked is gambling. NSFW, go for it. Well, my work doesn't block anything except for adult websites because it's the state of Florida and they block it. So I got to use an IP when we work with NSFW. I have to use a VPN when we work with NSFW clients because there is no NSFW in my industry. The American to me says, yes, you need to give both the same treatment. They're both login walls. They're both doing similar. One is just doing something we all don't want. One is doing it different. Okay, that's fair. I think it's the change. I think if MakerWorld had started to say, hey, you gotta log in to download. Okay, hey, that's your prerogative. I'm not gonna recommend you. But yeah, the change is what it's... And I guess they made this change a long time ago, and it shows you how little I use their website. Yeah. Rexit has an opinion that I was expecting to hear earlier, saying, and yes, it's shitty, but they pay me enough to let it go. I mean...
I kind of vibe with that.
Hey, look. Is what it is. I'm not going to hate you for playing the business card. Is what it is, brother, sister, whatever, is what it is. But yeah, I prefer a more community driven platform. And I think that this update to EasyPrint has been like ideal. It's awesome. Now, I will never use it. It has no value to me because my machines are not online. But I do think that is super, super cool. Super cool.
It's nice when companies try to integrate with other companies without really needing to.
Yeah. Like, Prusa had every right. And honestly, I never expected them to open it. So I was wholeheartedly expecting them to keep EasyPrint just for Prusa printers. Because, like, that's a huge selling feature. And, like, I would argue it's similar for Bamboo. The fact they have their own version of EasyPrint, which they did have first. Prusa's EasyPrint came second. But Bamboo's, I don't know what the hell they call it, their version of EasyPrint is a huge selling feature for MakerWorld, for Bamboo users, especially those that want to just click print. It is a huge benefit because you're not required to learn the slicer, which objectively is a difficult thing to learn. Even in easy mode, it still has all these terms you've never heard of. And the videos on the terms, they never do well. That's why we don't do them anymore. So it's like, gosh, how am I supposed to dip my toes in? And this lets you dip your toes. Prusa had every reason to keep this just for themselves. Them opening it to other players in the community directly diminishes the value of the product to Prusa specific machines. Now, it directly raises the benefit of printables to others. So there's that. Will we see printables go to a similar lockdown system? Don't know. If they do, bet your sweet ass I'll call them out for it. I won't have a problem doing it. But it's funny, like, I guess I've never known Prusa to make a move like this that feels like they're actively shooting themselves in the foot. You know?
I mean, a few times.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Like, they had every opportunity to keep it as a Prusa only asset. And there is
Prusa keeps proving why they are the nicest company for the consumers.
no, nice doesn't always pay the bills. That's the bummer. The bummer side of it is nice doesn't pay the bills. It can help,
Yeah.
but yeah. I think that this move was unexpected for me. It kind of like, whoa, wait, why? The initial business in me is like, why the hell would they do that? What a bad move from a business perspective. But then I'm like, no. Prusa didn't care about the business side of this. It's the community side of this.
It's not even
And
that. It's
well,
the fact that now there is a business side to this.
more users on
Prusa
printables.
now, and Prusa now controls every part of that market that isn't Bamboo Lab. Where previously it was just Prusa machines, now it is every machine except Bamboo Lab.
No, Bamboo's on EasyPrint.
Exactly. So they are going to, at this rate, force themselves to become the default.
I think it is
Again.
it is a great way for for them to build market share. It's a great way to do that. But it's a really weird one. Did you see this coming? Like, did you expect them to do this? I didn't.
I wouldn't have.
No.
I legitimately do not understand it. But I can see the logic behind those reasons.
Yeah. Like, understanding that it becomes a market share thing, it makes sense. But this shows where some of the mindset is in their development team, that they were working on this clearly for a while. And I love that, dude. That is so freaking cool.
It is so nice.
And I guess, Printables has the whole paid side of it as well, so it will likely bring them more revenue from the paid files, right? So it brings creators more money through Printables, and likely has a fair bit of benefit for designers to choose Printables as their main designer space rather than Maker World or Thangs or something like that. It's super cool. You're tired. I can tell you're tired.
You can tell. You can tell.
Like
I am like
your head's like
I'm just
you're like
there
this.
like,
You're like, oh man, I'm so tired.
the problem is I don't actually have a lot of opinions on this.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up, like, when it comes to software stuff, I am very desensitized to other aspects of industry. And because I'm desensitized to other aspects of industry, I am kind of okay with both what Bamboo Lab are doing and Prusa are doing. And that's kind of it. Like, I don't have any takes that you haven't very successfully articulated.
Again, I don't think I'd be mad at Maker World if they started like this. I'm mad at them that they've transitioned to this. That's what I'm mad about the change, and that it goes against what they built their system around. And so it feels like once again they have said, "Oh, we're about community." Haha, no we're not. It's like, guys, come on. And I get it. It's the easy solution of dealing with the download farms for the Maker World points. Fix the system with the points and move on.
Yep.
Just fix the system with the points.
They just need to fix that. But they won't, because they've got a better solution now that earns them more money in the long run.
It's fair. It's fair. So, you had a busy week. You want to talk about it?
We can talk about it. It's a bit contentious. This is the first time I have been in a protest on the wrong side. So I have been since the 8th of September all the way through to the 13th. I was at London at the Excel trade show center, because they were running DSEI, which is the UK once every 2 years mega defense show. Like, they had 2 warships outside, they had tanks, they had drones, aircraft, everything you can imagine, they had it there. I have seen some absolutely fantastic companies which are in it to save lives and to keep people safer and all that. And I have seen some companies that you can just look at them and go, you take pride that you make orphans. Not naming names, but I might have picked up a poster or two just for the fact that it is so humorous that they are making posters. And I look at it going like, haha, orphan maker company. Of
Yeah,
course I do.
where the ethical line is drawn way outside of the normal ethical line because there is enough money to redraw the ethical line. It's the oh,
Exactly.
I'm going to school for aerospace engineering. It's so I can make 200 grand at Lockheed Martin to look the other way.
Hey, some of these companies make Lockheed Martin look tame.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny how, a lot of people look at like, oh, the war crime company of the world is Lockheed Martin. While they are fundamentally responsible for the planes and some of the missiles, they are far from the worst offenders when it comes to when it comes to war crimes.
I mean, like some of these stands were insane. Like BAE Systems, their stand was so big, it was the only stand in one of the halls. It was the only one. They made
How
a
much
second floor. They had glass walls put up, they had stairs, they had a second
so you
floor.
could look
They
down?
had, yeah, they had meeting rooms on meeting rooms.
I've seen this. I have seen this where companies will have such a big booth they have dedicated like sound treated meeting rooms and it's like, "Bro,
I'm
there's
not
some
talking like
money in that
the little
industry."
cube pods.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm literally
yeah.
talking like they have a 12 person
Yeah.
like boardroom
Yeah.
with a projector and like these things were insane.
Yeah.
Like actually insane. And that's what I've been doing for that entire week. So I was very lucky to partner with a company called Foremost who make some very interesting oh no, sorry. They don't make, they are the UK prime distributor for cases, shock mounts, uh, server racking to go in hardened situations. And we actually met them at a show before this. And this is how we ended up getting on the show is there's a lot of collaboration between us and them. So they're like, hey, we want to put a printer in a hard case so it can be dropped out the back of a helicopter. And do you want to show up at DSEI? And I'm like, you know what? I
F
know
it.
the price of it. Like they did not have a massive stand like BAE Systems, but to say that their 3 meter by 5 meter stand was twice the regular wage of like a person. I will not say the wage, so it gives a nice boundary of what you could probably imagine.
Very expensive to go to these trade shows.
It is expensive, like a yearly wage twice over.
Like we have Soft Week here in Tampa where I am not exaggerating. They do live fire demonstrations where the firearms are all filled with blanks, but they're real firearms, and they storm and they do a siege basically on the convention center, which is on the water. So they come in on helicopters and boats. They have mini guns on the helicopters that are just dumping brass into the water. You could just see the old gray-haired NRA guys like, I need my scuba gear. I need the brass. And then they're throwing guys out of freaking helicopters and boats, and they're underwater swimming. They come up from all angles. They're storming with full firearms, shooting guns, throwing smoke grenades. It's a whole thing,
No,
and they do this
it
every year. It's a whole thing.
it was very similar to what happened here. So they had
Yeah.
two warship, like not small ones, but quite large warships outside. I think, but they had one frigate and one cruiser.
What'd
I
you
did
call
not go
me?
outside, so but no, they had like a load of small patrol boats outside. They were doing like just way too much. The amount of defense to defend a building was measurable. Like to get to the building, I only walked 10 minutes away to get in, and you would pass probably 20 to 30 police dog like groups and another 20 to 30
Yep.
fully armed police personnel. And I was coming in through the back door because on the front
Were you
door
now?
there was protesters. Oh, don't you know it? But there was protesters, and we weren't allowed to go there without armed guards
Yep.
because it was quite dangerous. It was weird, but the show was fantastic. So it was 5 days. What was interesting is it's a lot slower than regular trade shows. Like it's not got 600 people walking through the corridors at all
No.
times. Though with that being said, if you go to the main bus bar that goes between all the halls, because there's like 20 halls, so there's something ridiculous in that building. Like the entire XL
Yep.
was booked for this event, not like 3 halls or 5 halls. Every single hall was booked for this event.
Yep.
And in the hallway, it was just packed like sardines. Like you could easily see a couple thousand people just in the walkways.
Yep.
It was huge. And what was really interesting to me was so I was able to get out on 3 separate days to do a little bit of walkabout towards the end of the days. And I would take like 50 minutes to go from one side to the other, snaking between stuff. And I would only explore like 15 to 20% of the show
Yeah,
doing
you
that.
don't get to see much.
You do not get to see much. And I was walking around like a madman with my camera out going, I swear I was going to get kicked out at some
They
point.
don't care. Nothing
Well,
that
it was
people
really
show off at these
interesting.
events are classified, right?
Wow.
So
That to get into this show, you need security classifications. Like you needed clearance. This is not an open show. The tickets cost 600 quid and you need
oh,
a
that's not bad.
security check.
Security,
It was actually
so
quite okay.
Security checks are generally understood because they want to make sure that you're not an ITAR risk. And that's normally what the security check is. It's just ITAR and CMMC compliance, just making sure that like, hey, you're not from a country that we don't like, kind of thing. For Soft Week in Tampa, there is no major security check, but there is like ITAR or CMMC stuff. So they're like, hey, sorry, can't go here. But the halls are generally separated into like open to the public and for specialized only kind of thing. But a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of the
this was all specialized only.
okay,
This was all specialized only. There was things that have so Rheinmetall
Mhm.
announced a new vehicle there, and I think another company announced a new vehicle there. Like they were doing very big meetings, like across from us were like 2 ballistic missile companies, and they were just straight up being like, "We just sold 50," and I'm like,
At how
"Okay, we're
much
at that
each?
show." They would not say.
100 grand plus each minimum, you know.
Oh,
So
that's on the cheap
you sell
side.
50, it's $5 million. Just think
Honestly,
about
it
the
was
amount of money that
insane.
50 ballistic missiles cost.
It
Oh,
it
there's the
was
Canadian. We said ballistic missiles
insane.
more than a few times. There's Duff. Duff is here. The Canadian's here. Said ballistic missiles enough times. The
No, it
Canadian
was
got
good.
wind
What
of it.
was quite interesting was so particularly walked around to see what all the cool tech was,
Mm-hmm.
but also seeing where additive is now being used because this is the one area where we kind of actually see the bleeding edge of tech. Like trade shows and science shows, you kind of get a glimpse, but it's never actualized into a product or a product stack. And I actually got to see it this time in use. So all of the things that you've been seeing online don't even come close to what I was seeing at this show. Like,
Yeah.
you think Metal Gear had some like pretty out there ideas?
No.
I've seen them realized. Like, we have stick drones that go in the back of a tube and get launched out like a mortar, and then they go over Metal Gear style. And
Yeah.
it was so bloody cool.
And they
But what's
all use
interesting,
3D printing. That's the best part.
all of them use 3D printing.
Yeah.
So like one of them uses like Formlabs like F1s to sinter all of the parts. And they were actually talking about going to like a filament system instead of a sintering system because they get more flexibility about the weight of the parts. So they get to get slightly stronger, slightly lighter parts
Yep.
with slightly more flexibility and all of that. And then you get on the other side and you've got submarine drones. And most of the submarine drones are using printed parts.
Yep.
And it does seem like, especially on like the medium scale and lower, 3D printers are a lot more common than a
Yeah.
lot of them were like letting on. But also, they all had similar complaints.
Yes.
They weren't fast enough. They weren't good enough. They kept breaking down. Like all the common complaints you get with a Stratasys machine were coming out at this show. And it was weird. Like, a couple companies were using Bamboo Labs, and it was like,
Sure you want to do that?
you sure you want to do that, bud? You sure? But then the other side was a lot of them were aware of the threats, whereas the government don't really care. The people in these companies really did care. And that was just really interesting to me, is just seeing all of this actually unique design going on where everyone had a different design. There wasn't like well, okay, in the America zone. Also, the America zone was just actually kind of fucked because it wasn't even that good. It wasn't even that good. It was just gun companies showing off their like their ceramic coating, and I'm just there like, don't care. I've seen enough guns. Show me the cool stuff. I don't know which company it was, but I need to get the photo for the viewers at home. But you know how like bullets have rifling?
Well, the barrels have
Like
rifling.
when you fire it, the barrels have the rifling.
It imposes the
imparts it to
rifling on
bullet.
the bullet, yes.
Yeah, like pretty standard stuff.
Yep.
So if I come along, and if I remember, I have to lower the brightness on this so it doesn't blow out my camera, and then I will remove my background blur so everyone gets to see the lovely, lovely background. But if I like show the lovely folks at home that.
Twisted
What?
50s.
Why are we firing drill bits at people?
Because they penetrate.
Yeah.
And we all know we love some good penetration around here.
Like, that was one of like the maddest things I saw. And that is only like on a 4 out of 10 on the I've kind of lost a bit of faith in humanity scale at that show. There was
that's the trick. You
of...
have to. It sucks because like to play in the DoD and military world, you often have to like leave your morals and ethics at the door because here's the trick. If you don't, somebody else will. Right? And if you want to make money, then you have to look the other way. And if you don't want to look the other way, then your competitors will absolutely do it. I promise you, if you're going to sit here and stand on a moral high ground and say, oh, we don't do defense work, no problem. Somebody else will gladly take that money from you. Right? Mind you, we have not had a lot of success with defense this year. Our 4 major defense contracts were all doged, so that's fun. But certain contracts are still moving forward, and there are companies that are profiting heavily from it. But as we're seeing, and I'm sure you saw as well, the outsourcing of additive to companies is going down very quickly. And they're
100%.
actively
they are
bringing it
insourcing
in-house.
so much
Yes.
now.
Yeah, and that I think is the big trick that people seem to forget, is that now that additive is becoming affordable, and to be clear, when I'm saying affordable, I mean like, you know, $1 million, $500,000, somewhere in that range. When we're seeing metal 3D printers in like the $500,000 to $1 million range that are capable of doing Inconel, niobium, God class metals that you can build hypersonic rocket engines out of that are definitely used for puppy dogs and unicorns. It makes sense for these companies to insource it, and they're absolutely looking for a source for an affordable, I'm going to put air quotes around affordable, because affordable to you and I
affordable for
is
them
not
is
affordable for them.
Very different.
Yeah. Like, I might say that for 3D Musketeers, a sub $10,000 printer is something that we're interested in. Sub 10 grand for defense feels like there's a catch. They want machines that are 15, 20, 25, 30, $40,000. And it can be the same friggin' machine. I mean, Bamboo, for instance, the H2D and the H2DE. Is that what they call the H2E? I don't know what they call it. It's $1,000 or $1,500 more. What does it have? Ooh, a tungsten nozzle. Fancy. But it can physical kill switch on the internet. So, and they sell those all the time to industry. Industry buys those machines. industry is actively looking for machines. And see, the cool thing is, you guys as Construct, you can play the moral high ground and say, we just sell printers. What people produce with our machines is not our problem, right? I, however, am a service company. We produce parts. And there have been jobs that we've turned away because it's way too close to what I believe I would need a federal firearms license to produce than anything, right? Like,
We have been asked to do some like test parts on that, and we just had to go, nope. As much as we would love to, we do not have these certifications to be able to say we can do this.
however,
'Cause
we are
otherwise we are
happy
getting
to
in a lot of trouble.
we are happy to sell you a machine that you can use at your facility, and if you decide you don't like it, send it back and we'll charge you a rental fee. No big deal.
But yeah, this show was stupidly mad. Like, very long hours.
I say, it
very
probably still
long.
hasn't
I've never
set
done
in
it.
for you, has it?
No, it doesn't feel real because of how big the show was. Like,
Yeah.
we never planned to do DSCI. It was something where we got a very good friendship with another company, enough that they allowed us to come on their stand that cost them way too much money in our eyes. But for them, it's good money because
Yes.
they actually came out saying that was a really good show for them. And it would, to us, I have no idea if that was a good show or not. Like, I actually don't, because I don't have the training to understand what makes a good show. Like, we haven't done enough at this scale. Like, a 5-day show is a long period of time.
It is a very
I
long
don't
show.
even know if Form Next is a 5-day show.
I think it's a 4, maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, defense shows tend to go long because there's also, at least at Soft Week, they do CEU stuff, so you can get like, continuing education credits. So they do like classes and things where people will be all day in classes for 1 or 2 days.
Oh yeah,
So
they did not even do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So having an entire week makes sense. So you can spend, 2 days on the floor, 2 days in classes, and then 1 day getting drunk in Tampa, which is what a lot of them end up doing. Pro tip for people that are in the Tampa Bay area: don't go into Ybor City anytime during Soft Week, unless you're into military dudes that have a drinking problem. And if you are, hey, target market, 1 shot, 1 kill, you got him. Well, that's a bad way to put it, but you'll take some home, I promise you.
But
Because look, enough alcohol even makes me look pretty. Okay.
I saw several like Call of Duty style Gatling turrets.
Yes.
That use 3D printed parts all over them, either for housings, for the gear systems, for the aiming. Some of them are like the man usable ones. They're not automated, so it's still like Call of Duty. You're on the Gatling gun, and they're mad. It's so weird seeing a fully done industrial piece of weaponized warfare and a 3D printed handle or 3D printed covers, and they are weirdly not high quality. Like you would expect for defense, they would be very high quality, but the actual surface quality of a lot of these parts was, in my eyes, questionable. But you could tell they ruggedized it up to allow it to work in these environments quite handedly. But even like on the bigger stands, like I think it might have been Eldery Harris. Yeah, it might have been Eldery Harris. Like they're big. They had huge stall. And they had a load of like radar jammer boxes and radio booster boxes, and all of them were 3D printed. They didn't bring any of the actual stuff on site.
It is
probably
common,
out of security concern.
Yeah,
but they printed all of them.
I was gonna say it is common that even if they're like in the prototyping stages, they'll put something together with 3D printed parts, but also they do it so that if there is a competitor walking around with a camera, they're not showing finished products. They're showing facsimiles, and it's a very very common thing, and it's where 3D printing and additive manufacturing really does well. Did you get any like opinions from people on Construct 2 as they were like walking by and looking at it?
Oh, so, I got loads.
What was the most heart-wrenching opinion that you heard? The one that hurt the most?
Okay. The one that hurt the most was we had an engineer come out from a drone company, and it wasn't sanctioned by their boss. But he was quite high up in the company, and he came over, and he was an engineer first. and he literally was gushing over the ethos of the machine was the perfect machine. Like the fact that it's got the 5-minute repairs and it's designed around an operator actually having to use it. If it goes down, they can repair it themselves. Like all of the sales pitch that everybody's already heard in this podcast multiple times, they were eating it up. And he's just there like, unfortunately, unless it costs $500,000, we can't buy it.
Hey,
Because the
we'll sell
boss
you
will
one and
not
half a
sign off
million.
on it.
Not a problem. The
And that
answer
was it.
is,
It was
I'll sell you one and half a million.
I'm just there like, we have golden boy status of this is exactly what they want. And all of them were blown away when we told them like speeds and flow rates and how much we can produce. Because at the show, again, we were the only people actually printing at the show. There was only like 10 printers there total.
Yeah, wouldn't
and
surprise
most of them were on like service bureaus. And we were the only one printing. And we were printing drone nose cones, like big ones, just to prove that we can do it. And everyone loved it. Like they loved being able to see the machine work. They loved the ethos. They loved all of this. And it hurts when like you can tell they're very interested and then they just walk away because they aren't the decision factor in their big company. And that's where it really sucks because they will be like, we need this. Like I've been working on the print farm and we need machines like this. And then they're like, but we can't buy it because middle management wants to buy this machine. We had somebody come over talking about how they just got like a Mark Forged X7.
Yeah,
and then I was
good machine.
showing them all of this, and they were like, I would have traded this 10 times over for these machines.
Great, we'll
And
sell
then
you
like,
10.
And I'm like, cool, let's get in contact. Let's do something. And they're like, unfortunately, we've got a service contract with Mark Forge, so we're going to buy another 5 of those Mark Forge machines. I'm like, oh.
No, you see, and that's where you say, no problem. Hey, with the price of our machine, you can probably slide one of these in there and no one will even know it's there. Try it, use it, let us know your thoughts.
But yeah, that was probably the most heart-wrenching. Some of the good stuff was at these type of shows, you let a little bit more of the future planning come out.
Right.
Like with machines that I have not spoken about on the podcast, and I will not.
Yep.
So don't get your hopes up, chat. But like some of the bigger players were exceedingly interested in the technology that we have acquired, and we are waiting for a funding stream to actualize. So hopefully that turns out to being either 1 or 2 collaborations, because that would be huge. That is company building right there, where the money that they would throw around would put Prusa to shame.
Yes.
To get that project done.
Yes. Yeah, it's the funny world of defense where the amount of money that was spent in that conference is more than the GDP of quite a few nations.
Oh, yeah. Straight up. Like, so we worked out, so we had a stall opposite us, which was Qatar. And Qatar's stall was gorgeous. Whatever designers they had to make their stand, beautiful. They even had like 5 people on a little barista bar that they made. And they were doing both like really good coffee and specialty coffee.
That is smart.
Oh my God, that coffee
is
was amazing.
So smart. I've seen Prusa trade shows have like kegs and they'll pour, Czech beer for people. I've seen that. I've seen like coffee bars. I've seen regular bars. Yeah. If you have a big booth and you have the ability to, and you have like people that are trained to serve drinks and beverages, do it. Because people will go over there, grab a coffee, then they'll sit around, look around. Then your salespeople are able to.
This is where it gets even cooler. This was a closed area. You could not go into it unless you were there to do business. You can't go and get the coffee and wait for a salesperson. You are only going there to already talk about whatever system they're selling.
Nice.
And that was like the common thing is like they would have 5 people doing nothing for the entire day for that one meeting when they show up. And honestly, some of these people would show up and they have, you know, that meme on the internet. I can't remember which film it's from, but it's just full of medals. Just so many medals, like literally 2-star general, 3-star general level. And they take the coat off and all that. That is every other person there. Like they had delegations with armed personnel. Like they were fully strapped up, just having VIPs walk through. And I'm just there like, I am very much out of my comfort zone. I am designed to go to small trade shows. And I am now here looking at a Challenger 2 battle tank with the Challenger 3 upgrade kit. Over there's a bloody Typhoon. Like, all of these things are just going on around me, and it kind of just, it doesn't sink in.
No,
It
it doesn't.
legitimately doesn't feel real.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to see what comes of this. We spoke with several drone companies. We spoke with several primes, which are the big boys like L3 Harris and
Yep.
BAE Systems and Rheinmetall. Like, we spoke with all of them. We have actually officially started collaborating with a prime. And something we have done is public on that prime's brand new unveiled vehicle. I haven't got permission from them to say otherwise, though they are giving out our flyers at the same time, so I don't know what the legality is on that.
Don't worry about
I
it.
was
Not your
told
problem.
we could say it, but at the same time,
It's not worth it.
probably ask permission first.
Yep. See, there are certain times in life where asking for forgiveness is better. This is not one of them.
Yeah. Technically, this entire event was not public,
Correct.
even though all the videos are public on YouTube already. But it was a closed private event,
Yes.
and it was not open to the public or media. So we are not going to say which company we're working with, but let's just say I am very giddy to ask them, can I use their logo on the website to say that we've supplied them with something? Because that logo on its own made the entire show worth it.
It's instant validation that you guys know what you're doing, that you do make quality machines, that a large company has said, yeah, no, these people are legit. You are getting the peer review, if you will, for your machines, that they are not only business class, they're industrial class. Calling anything military grade is just wrong. So industrial and commercial class machines for commercial class environments with full lights out production capabilities, which you can check out at construct-3d.com, coming soon to a morally ambiguous retailer near you.
Nice segue. I like that.
It's what I'm good at.
I really like
I'm
that.
supposed to be good at putting CTAs in there.
This was such an interesting show. I have the one that was quite interesting was actually talking to people and hearing their points of view.
Yep.
Because you'd expect at some of these shows you get very far opinionated views on certain topics. And what was quite interesting was how realistically based a lot of their viewpoints are. They aren't just like, oh yes, we're going to supply the bomb killing stuff for the bomb killing country. Like, they were actually like, yeah, this is kind of like screwy, but here is actually information that isn't available to the public, why we can make these decisions.
Yep.
And while I'm very lucky to have been involved with intelligence gathering sources for quite a long period of time now, so my views on, let's say, certain contentious geopolitical events that have reasons for protesters to be standing outside the event, the knowledge that are inside that building is different to what is shown on the internet. And hearing both different points of views that support different groups and everything was quite eye-opening with how not aggressive the stances were. Like, it was more like a silent understanding that the knowledge that is available in that room is not available to the public.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that people think are truths in certain topics actually aren't, but are also kind of true. And I think that the most pervasive feeling was nobody is in the right. Like, there is no good guy anymore. Like, the information age has come. Like, one of our stand members, bless his soul, literally walked up and down once and said, I am losing the will to like live, because some of these companies are like actively evil next to companies that are actively good.
Yep.
But then the people working in them are just like kind of chill.
Yeah.
And they're just there like, we just work here. It's just part of life. Here's our stances on it, and we don't get a say in it.
We've done work for companies that make not only missiles, but missile defense systems. So they sell to both sides of the fence. And so that's how they say, oh, well, someone else will do it if we don't. We might as well make it so we know that our defense systems are good enough for our missiles. I'm like, I mean, okay, sure, I guess that works. But at the same time, the people that work there are just genuinely nice. They have jobs, and they're a part of the pie. And, certainly we are not going to be political given do you even know what happened this week in the United States? My God, we've had problems politically.
No,
This
so all I know that happened geopolitically as I was at this event was Russia invaded Polish airspace because
Yeah.
everyone was talking about that.
Yeah.
Everyone was there like, do we need to cancel the show right now? Levels of
Do we have work to do, or do we just see extra money go on our books? Which one of
there
these?
was a lot of conversations on that day
Yeah.
about what would happen if like Article 4 actually like passed.
It did.
And I'm pretty sure all of them were like, yeah, we don't know, and we are just going to wait. But half of our high execs are in one building, so the security keeps going up. That's another thing. The security of the building was insane.
Yes.
Now, bear in mind, jammers are semi-illegal in the UK. You can't jam emergency services. You can't jam all of this. There were active jammers going off all the time at this event. Additionally, it got worse. Apparently, some people cut the fiber optic cables to the entire building. Like there were active threats going on. And I'm just there like, I'm sitting nice. I didn't know this happened 2 hours ago. And somebody like breached something. And now the security is twice as big. Also, on that note, why on earth are dogs so cute when they can just rip your hands off instantly?
Belgian Malinois are absolutely adorable, and they will absolutely destroy you if given the right commands.
Like, I was having to hold back every time they walk by going, can I pet them? Because they're so adorable. They're so happy.
They are working.
Until they are not happy. They are working.
The same way that I wouldn't go and say, oh, can I pet you? No, they're working. Yeah. Belgian Malinois.
But no, what happened in America?
I'm not discussing it on this podcast.
Oh, no. Is it that bad?
Yes. Check the politics channel in the Discord. It's bad.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. Politically, to say political divisiveness got orders of magnitude worse in the U.S. this week is...
Oh, no, I do know what happened because Europe is absolutely based and decided to ignore something.
They did. That is correct. They did.
Yep.
They did choose to do that. So, yeah, I mean, we had, of course, the anniversary of 9/11 here in the States. That's always a...
Oh, my God. That was so nice to see at the show. So they did an announcement there. We already knew there would be a time for it. And I was in the walkway where everybody was. I have never seen so many people in active conversation doing big business.
Yep.
There was literally not a pin drop.
Correct.
Not a noise. There was suddenly 8,000 people within eyeshot just suddenly stop.
Yep.
And it was so nice to see. It was ultra respectful. There was no quibble by foreigners that don't really understand it. They just, everyone from every nation, from the Middle East to Far East Asia, all the way to the Americans, everyone was on the same page. There was no need to do any communication with it. Everybody was on board. And that was so nice to see. Because normally, like, if you do it in public, like, you might get, like, 80% and then the rest fall in line after a couple. No. Instant.
The military conventions are very much a time of mutual respect when it is required. And it is nice when you see it operate on a proper level. It's rough when you see it become politicized and all that. But yeah, it is not we are not a political podcast. If we were, we'd be much popular. And we would both need active security details all the time about the things we could talk about from this past week. But that's the way life goes. And as we've said, for businesses and consumers alike, part of life is learning how to move and continue pushing forward when it feels like life is consistently getting in the way. And while this is probably more of like a therapy thing than anything else, it will often feel as though you don't know what move to make. The move to make is to keep moving forward. Never move backwards. You never want to move back in life. You want to consistently push forward. If you find you're making the wrong decision, then change paths. Don't back up. Change paths. It is better often to change the path than it is to fully back up and start over again. So my preference when it comes to stuff like this, and it's what I've told the staff, it's what I've told anybody that asks my opinion on what's happened in the US, say any of the instances that happened this week, the big one that was politicized and the ones that weren't politicized, should never happen to anybody anywhere. But there is no power that I as an individual civilian have to impact any amount of change that is in any way, shape, or form reasonable or effective. So instead, I would choose to say, don't forget to call your loved ones. That's it. That's why we say it at the end of every single episode since October of 2020. Every single episode that we have ever made on this channel, podcast or otherwise, has always had don't forget to call your loved ones in it since October of 2020. But we just had a staff member die. Oh, former staff member, but we had a former staff member pass. She was very young. I'm not going to get into the details of it. It was a complication. We'll go with that. But like, I didn't know about it. I know about it because I randomly got a notification on Facebook. That's how I found out. Sucks. Life is fleeting. Don't forget to call your loved ones. As simple as that. You haven't talked to them recently, call them. That's it. Because life is, unfortunately, ever powerful yet ever fragile.
Yep.
And defense shows really hammer in both sides of that world.
They really do.
We can make your life much safer, or we can make it much shorter. It just depends on which side of the money you're on. So, to any of those that are going through difficult times, please reach out to professionals and get help. Open Path Collective, if you're in the United States, is a federal nonprofit that is dedicated to helping those that have issues being able to afford traditional therapy with how expensive it is, to find affordable therapy for no cost. So please check out openpathcollective.org. They do not sponsor this show. I will never accept sponsor money for them. I think what they do is incredibly valuable, especially to those that have wanted to seek professional help but have not been able to do it because of financial reasons. So nonetheless, I think we all can take some awesome takeaways from this week and look at how we can make ourselves better as humans. And whether that is we're looking at, better cosplay, better 3D prints, or more open 3D printing, I think there's a lot of good that we can take out of this world too.
Yeah. I like that.
Jacob, you want to take us out?
I think it is a good time to. Because after everything that I've seen recently, and obviously every geopolitical event that's been going on, it's exceedingly important to stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome.
Have a good one.
Stay safe.
All right, let's give away some filament.
Woo! Tonal whiplash.
Yeah, we always got to be careful with this stuff. It's delicate. It's delicate. Scotty Almanjoy says you use Facebook. The only reason that I use Facebook,
people use Facebook.
No, the only reason I use Facebook is so I can lowball people on Facebook Marketplace. That's it. It's the only reason. Otherwise, it's there so I can, make sure that the company's Facebook page is fine. All right, we went for 3 hours, so 3 rolls. Let's do it.
Let's
shut
do
down
it.
the giveaway. And
yeah,
we're in
that
September,
show was
right?
intense.
It is.
Yes, we are. September the 14th.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it. I have done some things that I never expected. I never expected to exhibit at the SEI. It's one of those shows that you need infinite money to show up at. And we got
Yes.
very lucky to show it off. We showed off the final prototype for the C2, which was gorgeous. It behaved beautifully,
Dude,
and people really appreciated all the features.
that's like the one thing that you can hope for. It's like it's you're always nervous about a machine like in the real world failing
Yep.
at a show because it's like, how do we solve this? How do we fix it? How do we do this? How do we do that? It's like, oh my god, I have to.
Even worse, when we didn't deliver it because we
Mhm.
weren't allowed to.
Yep.
The machine itself had to go through security checks.
Yep.
To make sure we weren't transporting a bomb and that sort of stuff. So it got to be set up in advance by an external team. So you're never entirely certain, like, the quality of all of that, or if it got damaged in transit, or the security checks. But it was amazing. Like, at the end of the day, we basically had 1 meter by 1 meter square to ourselves
Hmm.
and a little bit of storage space, and we just had a machine on that. And Mum would go off and collar people the way she always does because she's a social engineering mastermind.
She is. I've
And
watched her work. It is
scary.
scary. Yeah, it's cool, but it's like, okay, don't get
It-
on Teresa's bad side.
Do not. Absolutely do not. But no, it was really good. And hearing all the feedback, especially from big name players,
Yeah.
where they play with numbers that will make big companies cry, and that's their personal budget.
Hmm.
That was quite interesting to see as well. And yeah, I think I've got enough data. We're going to hit out the park with this machine. Nobody is ready for this in the market because we've kind of proven it now. We went to the expensive trade show place, and every single one had very similar complaints with their current machines that we've just fixed. And they were
Nice.
like, you know what? Do it. So I'm really happy with that. Hopefully that can turn into sales now,
Hmm.
and not in 2 years' time, because that is the risk with defenses. It is.
Yes.
They are not fast.
No, they move at the pace of molasses. I mean, there's literally a joke of the hurry up and wait, right? Like that's the joke for military is always hurry up and wait. It is an interesting one, and
Yep.
I don't know. I believe that there's a lot of value, and I think that C2 is perfect for this community. So
Oh, you know
yeah.
what was quite interesting? We had a company that specifically only uses IDEX 22 machines.
Okay.
And they were actually saying how, while they really much enjoy their IDEX 22 machines,
There's some value.
the failings of the machine were the soft bits that Vision Miner didn't really consider. And that was quite a big detractor. Like, they don't come with a screen.
Hmm.
And I can understand why Vision Miner didn't put it on the machine, but at the same time, that was apparently like such a make and break like annoyance for them, because they couldn't just go up to the machine and press a button. They had to always go back to a desktop in a different room that was secured to go send a file. Also, the same complaints that the Prusa HD90 has, which is printing Peak, Pack, and Ultim is kind of just a gimmick, because the machines get hot enough to print it, but then you need to thermally debind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peak, Peck, and Ultim are difficult materials, and a lot of companies think they can print it. And yeah, you might be able to print it a little bit, but can you anneal it? Can it, is it going to produce proper parts? I don't know. So here's where we would normally send you guys to go hang out with Mr. Steve Builds, but he's not streaming today because he is at Maker Faire Orange County. Oh, and Beater Printer for the $10. As always, love the content. Have you seen the thing the Beater Printer put out?
No.
He made a 1300% scale dummy 13 and took pictures of it wearing the
that's
Hedamame
fantastic.
headphones in like a folding chair in his front yard. It's so dope. I am committing to doing a me-sized dummy 13, but also make it me-shaped, so I gotta make it a little pudgier so we can use it to model the shirts and all the merch for the website.
Oh, you actually have to.
Yeah. I will do it in the new facility once we do the expansion. I'm not going to do it. I don't have space in the current facility, but in the new facility I will do it. And it will be like a living weird version of me, a triplet, if you will. My parents' real favorite son, because it won't talk. So yeah, that's it, y'all. Oh, okay. Catlip put the pic of the 1300% dummy 13.
Oh, fantastic.
Now the real question is, does that qualify you for the HOV lane? Are you a high occupancy vehicle now? I don't know. Depends on how you classify robots.
Oh no, the real question is if you're pregnant, do you count as well?
I would argue yes. Well,
I would.
Okay. American politicians would.
Oh no, I know what you just meant by that. This European mind took a little bit of time to comprehend what you just meant.
Christopher Elliott's asking if I have reviewed the H90 printing Peak Peck and Ultem. No, we would like to. We don't have one. So, I can't. But we'd like to. Yeah. That's really it, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, afternoons, mornings, whatever time it might be. If you are a member of the Discord or would like to come hang out with us here in just a couple of minutes, you can join at the $10 tier and higher. Links are in the description down below. We do and have always pay-gated the Discord. It's not like we changed that. See, you could be mad at me if I change the pricing on the Discord and made it from free to pay-gated. It's pay-gated because we spend a lot of time in there hanging out and helping out. So if you do want to come hang out with myself, Jacob, some of the other Musketeers as well, you can join the $10 here and higher. I see there's, 2, 4, 6 people already in the chat waiting for us to show up. So we'll see you all later.
If you do join, you get to see all of my pictures that I took from DSCI in the server because I've only posted it there. And the rest aren't going public. They're in that closed server. So if you want to see some of the coolest prints on parts, like literally they are mega cool, you got to join the server to see that.
And Silence Mark said, you mentioned you had a political forum. This may help with user safety. We do have a politics channel. It is in the NSFW channel, in the NSFW area, because we understand people are going to talk about it. I'll give them a place to talk about it that I can put on mute. Exactly what I do, because I tried not to spend any amount of time in that one little part of our server. But anyways, y'all, thank you for hanging out. Make sure to like, subscribe, all those things. Go check out other creators. We will see you all next week. Take care. Enjoy. Call your loved ones. See ya.
Yeah.